I open an internet cafe in Naruto. This video is purely for entertainment and does not infringe on copyrights or laws. The rights to the novel and image belong to the original author. We do not claim ownership. Don't like waiting and want to listen to this fanfic in full now? Subscribe to our Patreon, where you'll find the best fanfics. Chapter 176, Scorpion vs Chiyo. Originally, Chiyo was just a little suspicious of this person's identity, so she rushed over to confirm it. But now, the identity of this mysterious person has changed from a spy to his own grandson. The surprise in the world came too suddenly, and Chiyo didn't know how to face such a scene for a while. Similarly, Scorpion was also embarrassed. He didn't intend to recognize Chiyo when he returned to the Sand Village this time. Now that he has exposed himself, he is a little overwhelmed. After a long time, it was the old Chiyo who recovered first and asked with a complicated face, "Scorpion, where have you been all these years? Why don't you come back to the village? What's the use of knowing this? I'm now a traitor in Sand Village. Can I still come back?" Hearing Chiyo's question, Scorpion was a little disdainful. From the history of the entire ninja world, once a traitor can restore his identity and return to the village, he is either a spy deliberately sent out by the village, or the damage caused by this person when he defected is relatively small, or he has made meritorious contributions later. Otherwise, if a traitor wants to return to the village, what awaits him is definitely cruel punishment rather than forgiveness. With the status of Chiyo's grandson, it would be very easy for Scorpion to return to the village if he had not done anything to let the village down. However, this guy assassinated the third Kazekage and made him his own puppet. Once such a crime is exposed, not to mention Chiyo's grandson, even Chiyo's grandmother will be sentenced to death. Besides, Scorpion has never thought about returning to the village. If it weren't for the mission given to him by Peen, he would not come to the Sand Village. Scorpion, come back. The Sand Village needs you now. The death of the third Kazekage was not known to the entire Sand Village by Scorpion, so Chiyo still wanted to persuade Scorpion to come back. Just as she said, the current Sand Village can be said to be the weakest period in history. The only masters of the older generation are her and Abizo. Among the middle-aged and young generation, only Maki can show off. There are a few good seedlings in the younger generation, but it also takes time to cultivate. If Scorpion, the former genius puppeteer, can return now, it will undoubtedly be a huge improvement for the strength of the Sand Village. Unfortunately, Scorpion will never return to the Sand Village. Old woman, the world outside is so vast, I will not limit myself to a small place, so don't waste your breath. I will not go back to the village. Really? The meeting of relatives should be a happy thing, but under Scorpion's resolute refusal, the atmosphere on the scene became a little more solemn. In that case, even if I beat you down, I will bring you back. Chiyo's attitude was very firm. Today, she finally met her grandson who had been lost for many years. She would not let him run away no matter what. Bang! After throwing the scroll, Chiyo directly used her trump card and summoned 10 puppets. White secret technique, the 10 people of the Niamatsu. Oh. Is this the masterpiece of the puppet master's ancestor Monzemon, the 10 people of the Niamatsu? Seeing Scorpion's nonchalant look, Chiyo's expression was stern, and she took another look at Scorpion's unbelievably young face and asked in a trembling voice, "Have you turned yourself into a human puppet? You just discovered it now?" Scorpion laughed and did not deny it, and then he took out a scroll from his trouser pocket. "Since you want to play, old woman, I don't mind playing with you." With the sound of the scroll bang, 100 puppets appeared in an instant. This is exactly Scorpion's secret technique, the 100 machines training. Tanaka Shijichi, Takato Riki, you go first. The battle here is not suitable for you to participate. The puppeteer measures strength by the number of puppets controlled. The number of fingers is only 10, although this is already the limit, but Scorpion's puppetry is a subversion of tradition. How did he control 100 puppets? However, when she thought that Scorpion had turned herself into a human puppet, Chiyo seemed to be relieved a lot. How can a normal person compare with a pervert? Seeing the situation further deteriorating, Chiyo hurriedly called the 2 men who came out with her and asked them to leave quickly. First, this battle is a battle between the grandfather and grandson, and it is not easy for outsiders to interfere. Second, looking at the situation, even if these two people want to intervene, they don't have the strength, but will drag their feet and affect Chiyo's performance at the scene. Yes, Elder Chiyo. The two were also very perceptive. They knew that they were not strong enough. After receiving Chiyo's order, they left the scene directly. Now, no one will interfere with us. Scorpion did not stop the two from leaving. He also wanted to have a good fight with Chiyo. I heard that the 10 guards of the Komatsu can destroy a city, but my 100 machines operation can destroy a country. Old woman, don't die. Swish. After saying that, Scorpion took the initiative to attack. Red secret technique vs white secret technique. The puppets of the two sides fought hand to hand. Unexpectedly, it was Chiyo's 10 puppets that had the upper hand. Is this because there are so many puppets and the control is not sophisticated enough? In a short time, Chiyo controlled the 10 guards of the Komatsu to damage Scorpion's 10 puppets, but his own puppets only suffered some minor injuries, which did not affect the next battle. By destroying these puppets, Chiyo understood the weakness of the red secret technique, which is that the control is not sophisticated enough. Therefore, although Scorpion's 100 puppets are very imposing, they are like a group of rabble in battle, fighting against 10 soldiers with exquisite coordination. Not only can the advantage of numbers not be brought into play, but the puppets on his side will also reveal a lot of flaws because of the disorderly attack. Of course, the lack of control here is compared with a powerful puppeteer like Chiyo. Even if Scorpion is a rookie, his control over these puppets is better than that of ordinary puppeteers. Ding ding dang dang. Chiyo's 10 fingers control Shikamatsu Jujinwei, and Scorpion also controls the remaining puppets with the core in his body. As time goes by, Scorpion's puppets become fewer and fewer. However, the reduction in the number of puppets did not reduce Scorpion's attack. On the contrary, because of the reduction in the number, Scorpion's control over the puppets has changed from being stronger than ordinary puppeteers to being stronger than some medium-level puppeteers. As Scorpion's control increases, Chiyo is also facing tremendous pressure. Shikamatsu Jujinwei has begun to have some damage. If the fight continues like this, the best result will be a loss for both sides. Chiyo has lost the confidence to win this battle. After some time, the number of Scorpion's 100 machines manipulation puppets had been reduced to only a dozen, and the number of Shikamatsu Jujinwei here in Chiyo had also been reduced to only 3. Chapter 177. Scorpion, you, a puppeteer, actually use close combat? Because of her age in the fierce battle, Chiyo was already panting. On the other hand, as a human puppet, Scorpion had no such thing as being tired. Looking at Kyandian, who was almost at her limit, Scorpion laughed and said, "Old woman, your time has passed. Now it belongs to me. I want to leave, and you can't keep me." Taking a deep breath, Chiyo knew that Scorpion was telling the truth. Even if the materials used by the puppets of the Jujinwei of the Komatsu were better than those of Scorpion, she had indeed lost in this battle. However, Chiyo couldn't just watch her grandson leave the village. Fortunately, this was the Sand village, not some remote place in the wild. "Elder Chiyo, we are here." Chiyo was really relieved when she heard the sound of reinforcement coming from the rear. Before the battle began, she really wanted to keep Scorpion with her own strength. However, after so many years, she didn't know how strong Scorpion was. It is better to consider defeat before victory, so Chiyo asked 2 of her men to leave, hoping that they would go find reinforcement. Of course, this cannot be said openly, otherwise Scorpion will not stay here to compete with her in puppets. Fortunately, the 2 guys understood Chiyo's meaning and went back to the internet cafe to gather a group of people. Even Kankuro, the newly promoted genius puppeteer of Sand Village, gave up watching Gaara's game and came out to help Elder Chiyo to face the former genius. "Scorpion, old woman, I didn't expect you to become so despicable." After Scorpion left the village, he either dealt with puppets or dealt with a group of perverts in the Akatsuki organization. There was very little communication between normal people, so in the face of such a childish plan, he didn't even see through it. He really thought that Chiyo would compete with him in an upright manner. What was the result? It was all a routine. "Scorpion, I'm going to teach you a trick now. It's called all is fair in war." Fuck, all is fair in war. I think you are just making something out of nothing, sneaking through Chenkang, imagining it, and making it up. No, I'm not as good as you say. Scorpion, am I praising you? Speechless, Scorpion saw the ninjas from Sand Village getting closer and closer, and immediately released a smoke bomb, and wanted to evacuate. Where are you going? After finally delaying until the reinforcement arrived, how could Chihaya let Scorpion leave so easily? He crossed his hands in a cross shape above his head, and then suddenly sank his body, making a cheetah hunting posture. This is exactly what Iri Yagami's ultimate move, 8 Maidens. If you want to stop Scorpion, you must quickly get close to Scorpion and hold him. And the ultimate move of 8 Maidens happens to have an acceleration at the beginning. Using this move, not only can Chihaya quickly approach Scorpion, but she can also control him when she rushes into the smoke to attack Scorpion. What? After using a smoke bomb, Scorpion immediately took off the uncle puppet on his body. He used the uncle puppet to stay in place as a cover, while he could sneak into the ground and hide. No matter whether Chihaya led people to chase or scattered, he could wait for the right opportunity to come out. Who said he was a human puppet? It's awesome that he doesn't need to breathe. But he didn't expect that Chihaya would be Iri Yagami's 8 young girls. He just took off the puppet and was caught by Chihaya before he could escape underground. Then he was torn apart by Chihaya frantically, and the last move was Explosion Flame. I didn't expect you to transform your entire body into a human puppet. Seeing Scorpion lying on the ground, Chihaya was panting. What's up with this move? You, a puppeteer, stopped playing puppets and switched to close combat? Also, why do you know the skills of the character in that game? Scorpion was a little unwilling. He had a puppet physique. When facing the 8 young girls, the crazy tearing in the front did not cause him any harm. At most, the puppet was damaged, and it was the kind that could be repaired. But the last move, Explosion Flame, was powerful, and it directly burned Scorpion's core. As a human puppet, this core is his heart. As long as the core has problems, he will also have problems. In other words, this core is Scorpion's body. Now that his body is injured, he naturally lies on the ground and can't move. If he wants to recover, he can only let the medical ninja treat him, or let it recover by itself over time. Don't worry, Grandma, I have plenty of time to answer your questions next. Chihaya was very excited to keep Scorpion, and it was because of her excitement that she ignored some of Scorpion's small movements. Yes, Scorpion can't move now, but it doesn't mean that he can't make small movements. Under Chihaya's eyes, Scorpion turned on the switch on the sole of his foot, released a very small spider puppet inside, and quickly drilled into the sand, as if it had never appeared. Scorpion was caught by Chihaya, which was definitely a good thing for the Sand Village. Whether Scorpion was willing to become a ninja of the Sand Village again or not, his puppet knowledge was a very valuable asset. Of course, with a figure like Chihaya, it was unrealistic for the other elders to violently obtain knowledge. However, Scorpion had been caught and stayed in the Sand Village. In the eyes of these people, it was only a matter of time to get his knowledge. The battle between Chihaya and Scorpion ended, and at the same time, the game between Gaara and Kakashi also ended. Gaara fought back from a disadvantage in the early stage, but unfortunately lost the game with a score of 8-11, a not so disparate game. After exchanging the prizes for the contestants of Konoha, Liang immediately came to the Sand Village and learned that the Red Sand Scorpion was caught by Chihaya. To be honest, Liang was a little confused when he heard the news. According to the original plot, Sasori's return to Sand Village was 3 years later. He returned to Sand Village with Deidara for the Shukaku in Gaara's body. When exchanging items for Gaara, Chihaya, and Ibizo, Liang also took the time to think about it. He felt that apart from the internet cafe, there seemed to be no reason for Sasori to come back especially when Bei told him that Sasori also asked him about the internet cafe. Liang thought so even more. Are you here for the internet cafe? Liang knew that the existence of the internet cafe would be exposed sooner or later, but what he didn't expect was that the first to know about the existence of the internet cafe was the Akatsuki organization. Well, this also has a lot to do with him sending Danzo to Nagato. Liang is naturally not afraid of small organizations, but it is not necessarily the case for Sand Village. So there is no way In order to ensure that Sand Village is caught off guard by the Akatsuki organization, he thinks that he should also build a protective barrier in Sand Village like Konoha. Chapter 178 New Minigame. That's right, the reason why Ju didn't dare to guarantee a perfect infiltration was because Liang used money to exchange a set of protective barriers from the system. It's called a protective barrier, but in fact it only has a warning function. According to Liang's setting of the barrier, as long as someone doesn't enter Konoha from the main gate, the barrier will alert him. This someone can also be set. Liang didn't want to work hard for some minor characters. In his setting, no member of the Akatsuki organization would be spared. As long as someone climbs over the wall or suddenly appears in Konoha, he will receive the message and rush over. As for whether to fight or make peace, it depends on the sincerity of the other party and his mood. It is because of this set of barriers that Ju had a premonition of danger when he infiltrated Konoha. It is an old cunning man in the ninja world. If it weren't for the innate ability to sense danger, it would have been killed by Ashura and Indra in previous generations. Therefore, facing this premonition, it did not rashly enter Konoha. What is the most important thing for an old cunning man? Not cunning, but hiding. Black Zetsu, who has deeply grasped the essence of the spirit of Shun, will not do things for others regardless of danger. To put it bluntly, everything it has done since its birth is to prepare for the resurrection of its mother Kaguya. If something happens to it, what will happen to its mother? Therefore, it cannot die yet. The second internet cafe event has now come to an end. Champion, Hatake Kakashi, has an item exchange quota of 20 million teals. Runner-up, Gaara, has an item exchange quota of 10 million teals. The other 8 strong players also have an item exchange quota of 2 million teals. Nowadays, the players on the Konoha side basically have a primary magic sword in hand, so the item exchange quota of only 2 million teals can't be exchanged for anything good. Especially for a local tyrant player like Sasuke who has an intermediate magic sword in hand, 2 million teals of exchange quota is just a drop in the bucket. Hatake Kakashi, on the other hand, exchanged for an intermediate magic sword as soon as he got the quota, and he didn't use the remaining 10 million teals, but chose to store it with Liang. Or choose to use it to pay for the initial machine fee, or to enter the training room to practice skills. Liang had no objection to this. Anyway, the quota was given to them, and they could use it however they wanted. It was just that this way, he would earn a little less. But it was not a big problem. As for the Sand Village, Chiyo and Abizo exchanged for a primary magic sword, and then exchanged the remaining 1 million teals for some elixirs. Gaara was very straightforward and directly exchanged for an intermediate magic sword. After all the top 10 got what they wanted, they continued to do what they should do. Konoha continued to play the game, and recovered from the frenzy during the game to the usual state. The Sand Village side was a little more complicated. The general ninja continued to play the game, but Chiyo, as a senior official, was responsible for interrogating his grandson Sasori. The content of the interrogation was mainly about where he had been in these years, why he defected from the village, and whether he had done anything that was detrimental to the village outside. Under the heavy questioning, Sasori always kept silent. Even if Chiyo whispered and persuaded him gently, he would not speak. Chiyo had no way to deal with such a grandson, but she couldn't throw Scorpion to other people, so now Scorpion can only stay in prison for a while, and when he thinks it through and wants to talk to Chiyo, he may be released. When entering the prison, some of Scorpion's personal belongings will naturally be searched, and the scroll containing the third Kazakage will naturally fall into the hands of Chiyo and other high-level officials. But Scorpion is not panicked at all. This scroll containing the third Kazakage is not something that anyone can open. Even Chiyo, a master puppeteer, cannot crack Scorpion's encryption method in a short time. With that time, Scorpion would have been out of prison long ago. He was not rescued by the people of the Akatsuki organization, but walked out as a ninja of the Sand Village. That's right, the purpose of the little thing released by Scorpion was not to let the Akatsuki organization rescue him. On the contrary, its purpose was to prevent the Akatsuki organization from coming. His plan was also very simple. Since Chiyo still had family affection for him, he would make good use of this family affection to whitewash himself and become a ninja of the Sand Village again. By then, he would naturally know all the secrets of the internet cafe. As for why he didn't say anything now, it was also very simple. Anyone would be suspicious if he told everything right after being caught. As a former puppet genius, Sasori had some face and couldn't be so weak. He had already calculated that he would start to explain things to the outside world little by little in 3 days at the earliest and a week at the latest, and when the time was right, he would play the emotional card with Chiyo. In this way, he would not have to expose the existence of the Akatsuki organization, and he could also whitewash himself smoothly. After he got out, whether he chose to become a real Sand Village ninja or an undercover agent of the Akatsuki organization, it would depend on what secrets the internet cafe had. Sasori was caught by Chiyo of the Sand Village, and this matter was a private matter of the Sand Village, so Liang couldn't ask anything. He just set up the barrier and returned to Konoha. According to the agreement with Sasuke, Liang would add a new minigame after the game. There were many minigames in the system mall. Liang was still quite entangled in what game to redeem. The main purpose of exchanging the minigames this time was to open Sasuke's eyes. However, there were too many minigames that could open eyes, which made Liang a little difficult to choose. In the end, Liang listed all the minigames that could open eyes, and then randomly selected them with his eyes closed. TSK, it's this game. I hope they won't want to smash the computer when they play it tomorrow. The next day, Sasuke and Naruto got up early. They all knew that Liang would update a minigame today. As gamers, the appearance of a new game made them very excited. In addition, Liang said that this game would give Sasuke a surprise, which made the two of them look forward to it even more. After meeting on the road, the two came to the internet cafe together. Coincidentally, Liang just opened the door and saw Sasuke and Naruto standing outside the door, holding hands and talking about something. Yo, you two are quite early. Hey uncle, we can't wait to play the new game. Yes, boss, we can't wait. Hearing this, Liang smiled strangely and welcomed the two in. These two people don't know what kind of devilish game is waiting for them. Chapter 179, Heartbreaking Minigame, Digging for Survival. The name Overcoming Difficulties with Bennett Foddy sounds so ordinary. Turning on the computer, Sasuke and Naruto found this new game at a glance. There was no way. Who asked the name of this game to be so long? Play it with confidence. You will definitely not be disappointed. Liang smiled again and encouraged the two to play. Then I will play it first. Naruto, who was more nervous, did not notice the sinister expression of Liang and happily opened the game. Sasuke next to him was more alert. He decided to watch Naruto play first, and if it was really fun, he would play it. TSK, I have to say that, after being tortured by the pixel bird, Sasuke actually became smarter. Sasuke, don't you want to play? Well, I'd better take a look first. Shaking his head, Liang ignored Sasuke's cleverness. Although Sasuke has a certain chance of not playing this game after watching Naruto play. But it doesn't matter, there are many such heartbreaking games in the mall, and there is guaranteed to be one that suits Sasuke. Uncle, am I going to control the person in this jar? After entering the game, a person in a jar appeared in front of Naruto. The name of this jar man is Bennett Foddy. The main purpose of the game is to use the sledgehammer in this man's hand and some messy lever principle to make this man climb to the top and finally climb to the moon. Therefore, this game has another name, which is Digging for Survival. What? This game is very simple. After listening to Liang's introduction, Naruto felt full of confidence. Isn't it just to let this jar man climb up the mountain? Simple. After saying that, Naruto began to use the mouse to control Bennett Foddy, or to control the sledgehammer in his hand. This operation seems a bit difficult. It's not a bit difficult, it's very difficult. It may be the bad taste of the creator. There is a problem with the sensitivity between the mouse and the sledgehammer. The operation that seems easy to the player cannot be used in the game. For example, the player clearly only controls the mouse to draw a small circle, but it may be displayed as a large circle in the game. This kind of operation was something that Naruto and even Sasuke had never encountered. So Naruto ran into trouble at the beginning. Fortunately, Naruto had a special characteristic of becoming more courageous as he fought harder. He did not give up the control. He swung the mouse in a big circle with his right hand. At the same time, the character in the game also swung the sledgehammer smoothly. A beautiful lever operation allowed Naruto to pass the first difficult level, which was the tree that appeared at the beginning of the game. Haha, I have mastered the key gameplay of the game. The more uncles Naruto had, the more confident he was. Next, he would face a small hill composed of strange rocks. Without any surprise, Naruto also crossed it in one go. At this point, Naruto completely relaxed and thought that he would definitely pass the level smoothly. However, life is like chocolate. You never know what the next one will taste like. The same is true for games. Just as Naruto enthusiastically climbed the third level, which was a very steep hillside, and continued to move towards the fourth difficult level, he made a mistake in the angle of swinging the sledgehammer and returned directly to the ground. Naruto, Sasuke, mistake, it's just a small mistake. Naruto was a little embarrassed. He had said so much just now, and now he made a mistake and went back down the mountain. This made him feel embarrassed. It's okay, it's a game, mistakes are normal. Because he didn't play the game himself, Sasuke didn't know the difficulty of this game at all. Now seeing Naruto made a mistake, while despising him in his heart, he comforted him on the surface. Don't worry, I won't make mistakes this time. With Sasuke's comfort, Naruto started again, picked up the mouse, and started swinging the hammer. As the saying goes, a period of operation is as fierce as a tiger, and the record is 0 to 5. Naruto's current situation is a bit like this. Liang could see that he had tried his best, but he could never get over the peak of the third level, or if he got over it, he would fall back to the ground when climbing the fourth level. Blushing, Naruto tried several times and finally successfully climbed the fourth peak. This time Naruto didn't say anything, but breathed a sigh of relief and concentrated on climbing up. Hook, hook, hook. You fucking hook. Yes, yes, that's it. Hold steady, you must hold steady. Hey, 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 don't mess around. I really can't stand you doing this. Don't fall down. Naruto spent the next hour playing this game. He went up and down, down, and up, and his whole spirit seemed to have been ruined by this game. Naruto, you have to keep a calm mind when playing this game. You have to be relaxed and play slowly. Yes, yes, uncle is right. I must keep a calm mind. After taking a deep breath, Naruto continued to play the game. Keep a calm mind. Keep a calm mind. You must smile when playing games. Only a smile can eliminate irritability. I can play this game with a smile, and it won't be difficult for me. I smile. I play with a smile. Naruto played the game while smiling. Maybe it was really helpful to smile to play the game. Naruto passed the first few levels very smoothly in one go, until he came to the level of a small house. Naruto made a mistake and fell down again. At this time, Naruto raised the mouse and smashed it. I'm laughing. What kind of crappy game is this? Uncle, do you have a grudge against me, and are you deliberately making fun of me? Puff. Seeing Naruto so irritable, a group of onlookers laughed at him in a good-natured way. These people, like Sasuke, did not know the difficulty of the game, because they had not tried it themselves. Indeed, from the outside, this game is a game of operating the mouse to bravely climb the mountain. The game is simple and the gameplay is also very monotonous. I don't know what's so difficult about such a rubbish game. Laugh, laugh, laugh. What's so funny? You will know how difficult this game is when you play it yourself. I'll try it now and see if it's as difficult as you said. Obviously, most people don't believe Naruto, and they all turn on their computers and choose this new game to play. Facts have proved that this game is really a rip-off. From the fact that the mouse and keyboard was mashed from time to time, and various words were spewed out of these people's mouths, it can be seen that this game is really that kind of thing. Seeing this scene, Sasuke entered the game in disbelief, and then he started smashing the keyboard and mouse, and swearing like these people. Chapter 180, Repairing the plank road in the open, and marching through Shinkang in secret. Sasuke's face was livid, he gnashed his teeth, and while controlling the game character he said something lovely. Unfortunately, Sasuke, who was so excited, did not show any signs of evolving his Sharingan. This made Liang feel very sorry. His original purpose of exchanging this kind of mini-game was to let Sasuke evolve his Sharingan. Now, this game seems to be unable to meet his goal. Come to think of it, if Sasuke had not watched Naruto play, but played it himself first, he would probably have a chance to successfully evolve. Now after watching Naruto play with others, he already had a vague understanding of the game. When he played this game, the stimulation he received was naturally not as great as when he first played Pixel Bird. It's a pity that this game didn't bring you any surprises. However, I have many games here. There is always one suitable for you. 3 hours later, Sasuke completely gave up the self-abuse behavior. Although playing Pixel Bird was also self-abuse, there was at least a weekly reward and monthly reward mechanism to encourage players to play more games and gain more points. This stubborn survival is different. It does not have the encouragement mechanism of Pixel Bird. Unless you are a particularly self-abuse person, it is really difficult for ordinary people to play it. Sasuke's surprise did not come true, so Liang naturally would not give up. But he needs to use some strategies now. What happened today told him that, even if the game is heartbreaking, after watching others play it, his own attempt will be greatly discounted. If you want Sasuke to be stimulated to the greatest extent, then you must openly repair the plank road and secretly cross the Chenkang. So at night, Liang did not continue to choose any heartbreaking game, but chose a game with props that are more practical in the ninja world. That is the FC version of Super Mario, also known as mushroom picking. This game is Liang's masterpiece when he was a child. As for now, this game is naturally incomparable to games like Zyangjian and Diablo 2 in terms of gameplay. But it doesn't matter. Liang never thought of using its gameplay to attract players when he exchanged this game. His main purpose is still the props in this game. Whether it is the enlargement mushroom or the invincible star, both are very good props. Think about it, each member of the Akimichi family has an enlargement mushroom. After using the super multiplication technique to eat the mushroom, how much bigger it will eventually become is really exciting for Liang. If the enlargement multiple is good, then it is no longer a dream to resist Uchiha Madara's Gundam with a physical body. It was the second day again, and Naruto and Sasuke came to the internet cafe first. Today I have created a new mini game. Do you want to try it? Another mini game? Hearing this, Naruto and Sasuke shook their heads reflexively, indicating that they didn't want to play any mini games anymore. It can be seen that the two have begun to fear Liang's mini games. Afraid of playing games? How can this be possible? Fortunately, the mini game that Liang exchanged this time was not a pitfall. Under his guarantee, Naruto started playing mushroom picking. As for Sasuke, as usual, he would wait for Naruto to go to test the poison before deciding whether to play. Poor Naruto was fooled by Sasuke and became a guinea pig. Hey, this game doesn't seem to be a rip-off. At first, Naruto was very careful to control the little people in the game. When facing the mushroom NPC and turtle that were walking towards him, he didn't jump up to step on them, but tried to avoid them. As he played, he suddenly felt that this game seemed quite normal, not a rip-off game like Pixar and Dig for Survival. Sasuke, do you think the uncle is crazy? He actually added a normal mini game. What a crazy brain. Hearing Naruto's words, Liang's head was full of black lines. He wanted to give Naruto a trilogy of great adventure to let him understand what it means to be evil. Really? Then I'll try. Just when Liang was thinking about how to let Naruto experience it, Sasuke started the game. Right, this game is not that kind of game. After the two of them played for a while, Liang said to them with a smile on his face, "It is indeed a normal game, but it's not very fun. There is nothing to do if it's not fun. Don't you see when this game was made? Let's not talk about whether the game is fun or not. In this game, the mushrooms that can make the characters bigger, the flowers that can make the characters attack, and the invincible star, do you think they are useful?" Liang's words made Sasuke's eyes light up. Let's not talk about the mushrooms and flowers, but the invincible star is a good thing. Even if its function is weakened after it is exchanged, it is definitely a good thing that can affect the trend of the battle. So, if you want to exchange these things, you should work hard to clear the game. The game is exchanged for people to play. The gameplay of mushroom picking is not strong. If Liang does not take some measures, there will definitely be not many people playing it. Now, only after clearing the game, players will have the qualification to purchase the game props from the shopping software. In this way, in order to purchase the qualification, many people will definitely play this game. Konoha is developing normally, while Sand Village is going crazy because of the game digging for survival. It's miserable to say. Since the internet cafe in Sand Village opened, these ninjas have been playing King of Fighters 97 in order to get a place in the King of Fighters competition. During this period, apart from the must-play Legend of the Condor Heroes for novices, only Chinese Paladin 1 was relatively popular. Even the classic RPG game Diablo 2 was basically not played by anyone, let alone the small game Pixel Bird. After the King of Fighters competition was over, the players of Sand Village began to play the games on the computer casually. Among them, when these players played Pixel Bird, they wanted to bang their heads against the wall. However, with the existence of the reward mechanism, these people can also endure the anger in their hearts and play. Until yesterday, Digging Survival appeared. Most of the Sand Village players are very interested in this new game. As a result, they fell into the pit when they played it. Or the kind that they couldn't climb out. Whenever they wanted to give up, the narration in the game would always jump out and mock them in various ways. Is this necessary? The game is small, but the face is big. How could these ninjas be despised by a game? No doubt, play it. Then, these guys wanted to smash the computer. Fortunately, Bayer acted in time. Several electric currents passed by and directly knocked out these irrational guys. This intimidated some guys who wanted to cause trouble. Chapter 181 come out, the legendary cheating game. Liang didn't pay much attention to the group of people in Sand Village who were driven crazy by the game. Anyway, Bay is doing well there, and with the help of Zabuza, he can usually handle it by himself. Liang only needs to run the Konoha main store well. The current goal of the Konoha main store is to help Sasuke complete the evolution of the Sharingan. The first attempt at digging survival failed. Now it's time to start the second attempt. Hehe, I don't believe it. This game can't make you evolve. Speaking of it, when Liang exchanged the game Super Mario, in addition to needing the props in the game, the main purpose was to pave the way for the next game. Because the mode of this pit game is based on the game Super Mario, and has been modified. This is Liang's routine. Let Sasuke adapt to Super Mario first, and when they think that the game of this mode is just like this, then offer this pit game, which will definitely give Sasuke a different feeling. That's right, this game is Cat Rio, which is known as a perverted version of Super Mario. Even Liang felt crazy when playing this game, and he wanted to destroy the world, not to mention Sasuke. Soon, time came to a new day. On this day, Naruto and Sasuke did not come to the internet cafe at the first time. They had already experienced the two new mini-games. After the novelty wore off, the two began to resume their previous visits to the internet cafe. Well, this is also because Liang did not tell them that there would be new games today. But it doesn't matter. Anyway, let Sasuke play the game first, no matter when he comes. For this purpose, Liang was very cunning and hid Cat Rio. After Sasuke, Naruto and Sakura arrived at the internet cafe, he showed the game. Sasuke, there is a new game today. Looking at Liang with a smile on his face, Sasuke didn't know why he felt that a disaster was coming. Shaking his head, he quickly got rid of this feeling. Isn't it just a game? I have played Pixel Bird and Dig Survival, so what else do I have to fear? Sasuke felt that, even if Liang's game this time was another rip-off, as he had played the above two games, he was already fearless. In other words, he felt that he was already immune to all poisons, and no game could make him lose his composure. Hehe, this game will definitely satisfy you. Seeing Sasuke's disdainful eyes, Liang didn't feel unhappy, but just muttered in his heart, "Young man, you are still too young. Uncle, do you have a new game again? I want to play it, I want to play it." This time Liang would not let Naruto do the sabotage. He righteously refused Naruto. "Naruto, you played Super Mario and Dig Survival first. Now it's Sasuke's turn to play first, right? Point, is that so?" Okay. It can be seen that Naruto was not happy, but for the sake of brotherhood, he was willing to give up the right to play this game first. "Sasuke, Thank you so much. Huh. How come this game is a bit similar to Super Mario? As soon as he entered the game, the scene reminded Sasuke of the game mushroom picking he played yesterday. Except that the plumber turned into a cat walking upright. There seemed to be nothing special about it. Moving forward and avoiding the white round monsters that came towards the cat, Sasuke smoothly came to the first place in mushroom picking where mushrooms could be knocked out. This game is exactly the same as Mario, he said, controlling the kitten to push the question mark block on his head and then jump to eat the next mushroom that appeared. However, this time it was not mushrooms that appeared, but the round monsters just now. Point, calm down, calm down. I just started playing. It's normal to make some mistakes, right? Liang, Naruto, and Sakura. Yes, 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 you are alright. Ignoring the perfunctory consolation of the three, the game quickly continued. This time he learned his lesson and did not push the question mark block, but continued to move forward and came to the first water pipe. Look, as long as I don't push these blocks, this game is not difficult. As he said, he controlled the cat to jump hard, trying to jump over the water pipe. Then he was killed by the white cannonballs shot out of the water pipe. Sasuke. Haha, this game is really interesting. The three. Yes, this game is really interesting. The game continued. As the saying goes, every failure makes you wiser. This time, he didn't push the blocks and didn't try to jump over the water pipe directly. The cat first jumped to lure it, and after the water pipe released the cannonballs, it jumped over. Hey, that's right. You see, this game is really not difficult. As long as I'm careful, these traps can't stump me at all. As he spoke, the cat jumped onto the second water pipe. This water pipe can be dropped down in Mario, and there are some gold coins picked up for free. As a player who has just come into contact with Cat Mario, Sasuke subconsciously pressed the down button. It was only after he pressed the button that he realized that this was not a normal Mario, but a cheating version of Cat Rio. Just when he was nervous and thought that he had cheated again, he breathed a sigh of relief when he saw the kitten sink smoothly. I said this game. It's not difficult for me. As a result, before he finished speaking, he saw the water pipe suddenly vibrate violently and then flew straight into the sky and disappeared. Needless to say, the kitten's life was -1 again. Sasuke, I think you should just play the game honestly and don't play while talking. Even Naruto couldn't stand it after the kitten died this time. This one said and died. The slap in the face was too fast, and there was no time to rest. Shut up. Sasuke was a little annoyed by Naruto's words. Not to Naruto, but to the game. He had been mentally prepared when playing this game. He didn't expect this game to be so cruel, and there were cheats at every step. I just don't believe it. I can't complete this crappy game today. Looking at Sasuke, who was already getting annoyed, Liang wanted to say, it's already good enough that you can complete 2 or 3 levels today. Want to complete it completely? Haha, you're overthinking it. As it turned out, Sasuke really overthought it. Next, in the first level, he experienced a series of traps such as a sudden attack from the sky, a trap blockade, and falling down while walking. Seeing that more than 30 people died, and he couldn't even pass the first level, Sasuke went crazy. Chapter 180 to Uchiha Sasuke. I'm not angry. I need to calm down. It must be said that Sasuke, who died more than 30 times, seemed to have found the door to the game. Before jumping into each bit, he would try to find out if there was a trap. This cautious behavior allowed him to avoid many traps until he spoke again. Haha, I've already grasped the essence of this game. I won't be fooled into death again. Hey, this question mark block can actually produce mushrooms. I want to eat it first and see. Wait, how did this brick fall down? Isksu banana you fruit, how did this brick fall down? After the kitten died again, Sasuke immediately became violent again, and it was not just a normal violent. This guy directly opened the Sharingan. What is he trying to do? Is he going to smash the computer? Don't say. Sasuke really has this idea of smashing the computer. If Liang hadn't been next to him, he would really want to try it. Well, he still took me into consideration in such a violent situation. It seems that he still retains a trace of rationality. Sasuke's behavior made Liang both satisfied and dissatisfied. What satisfied him was that Sasuke still took him into consideration and did not act too recklessly. What he was not satisfied with was that, even though he was so manic, he still cared about not falling into complete madness. It seemed that it was not stimulating enough. Sasuke, why don't you stop playing with your level? I think it's just a waste of time to continue playing. Why don't you play other games? What is a devil? Guys like Liang are called devils. He thought the game was not stimulating enough for Sasuke and wanted to stimulate Sasuke further. That's right, Sasuke, why don't you stop playing? According to our experience playing Mario, this game should also have 8 levels. You have died dozens of times and haven't even passed the first level. You will definitely not be able to pass the remaining levels, so let's play other games. Sasuke now looks very much like when he was playing Pixel Bird. Veins bulged and his Sharingan was wide open. He was definitely on the verge of going berserk. Naruto wanted Sasuke to stop playing and calm down first. He didn't expect that his words would make Sasuke even more violent. The last one, are you looking down on me? I want to prove to you that I have cleared this game. Liang silently gave Naruto a thumbs up. Naruto was better at being angry. If Liang's words just now were just to provoke Sasuke, then what Naruto said was just to rub salt into Sasuke's wounds, and he also lit a fire and wanted to grill him directly. How could the proud Sasuke accept this? No problem, continue the game. Hey, is this blue flag the save point? After dying more than a dozen times, Sasuke finally came to the legendary save point. With this save point, if the kitten dies again in the future, it will not start from the beginning, but from this save point. This saves Sasuke a lot of time. However, this game is full of traps, and Sasuke is not sure if this is a save point. With the idea that it doesn't matter if he dies, Sasuke controls the kitten and rushes to the steps of the blue flag with gritted teeth. It's okay. It seems to be a save point. After going through untold hardships, Kaneko finally made it halfway through the first level. This indomitable spirit moved Sasuke. Well, it's an exaggeration to say he was moved, but it was true that he breathed a sigh of relief. Haha, I'm already halfway through. Next, I'll see what trap can stop me. Then Kaneko was killed by the collapsed road. CNM, are you not allowed to talk? Are you not allowed to talk? This game is clearly against me. If I talk, I'll die. If I talk, I'll die. I ask you, what the hell do you mean by this? The death of the kitten once again made Sasuke furious again. This time he didn't care about Liang next to him. He drew out his magic sword and wanted to stab the computer with one sword to relieve his hatred. Naruto and Sakura on the side were almost scared silly, not by Sasuke, but by this game. They had seen the furious Sasuke during Pixel Bird, and Sasuke also had many furious postures in Dig Survival 2 days ago. This time, the rampage seemed to be just a normal situation to them, and they didn't seem to be surprised. Instead, they looked at the game Cat Rio with new eyes. This first level was only halfway through, but it could force Sasuke into this state. If you can hold your temper and play the game to the end, there will be nothing that can make players go crazy in the future. Thinking of this aspect, this game is not a pit game. It is definitely an artifact to exercise psychological endurance. Of course, Naruto and Sakura asked themselves if they were lucky enough to enjoy this artifact, so they should wait for the next warrior to conquer it. Sasuke's rampage was quickly suppressed by Liang. Are you kidding me? You want to damage the computer in front of him? I think you are dreaming. Hoo, this game is really not for people to play. After being stopped by Liang, Sasuke calmed down a little. Thinking about the scene when he was playing the game just now, an idea of destroying the game and the world suddenly popped up in his mind. After suffering such a great humiliation, Sasuke should be blamed for having such an idea when he was on Earth. I don't know how many anchors and players smashed their own keyboards and computers. Incompetent and angry people can only smash computers, but what's wrong with capable people wanting to destroy the world? This is just an idea, and there is no action. It's just a way to satisfy your addiction, isn't it? Sasuke, don't have such a big opinion about this game. Haven't you felt the surprise that the game brings you? Surprise? I think it's a shock. This broken game, whoever wants to play it can play it. Anyway, I will never play it again. It can be seen that Sasuke is very annoyed with Katryo and even said that he would not play this crappy game. It is conceivable how deeply this game hurt him. With a slight smile, Liang ignored Sasuke's annoyance and asked again, "Are you sure?" Uchiha Sasuke, will never play this crappy game again, even if I commit suicide or hang myself on a cliff. Hearing Sasuke's venting speech, Liang, Naruto and Sakura silently applauded, and then after the three of them showed a weird smile, Naruto silently handed Sasuke a mirror. "Your smiles are really annoying, and Naruto, why did you give me this mirror?" The three did not speak, still looking at Sasuke with a weird smile on their faces. "I want to see what you are doing." When Sasuke took the mirror from Naruto and was about to look, suddenly a piece of music played by Suona and other instruments rang out in the entire internet cafe. It was the overture to the Small Sword Society that Liang specially exchanged. If you're listening to this novel on a channel other than Fanfic World, it means they downloaded and uploaded it without effort. We cordially invite you to visit our channel, Mundo Fanfic Novelos. There you'll find the original version of this story and you can explore many other novels of various genres. We're waiting for you to immerse yourself in a world of incredible novels. Chapter 183 Sasuke. It smells so good. Boss, what are you doing? The sudden music startled several people. It's okay. I just think this music is more in line with the current atmosphere. Sasuke and the other two felt a little puzzled. They didn't understand why this vigorous music was in line with the current atmosphere. Seeing the three little strong men's confusion, Liang shook his head and didn't explain too much. But in his heart, he couldn't help but feel a little regretful that there were so many players in the internet cafe and no one could get his point. Well, this is completely nonsense. These players haven't watched a Chinese Odyssey. It's really strange that they can understand it. Sasuke, you should look in the mirror first. Yes, Sasuke, look in the mirror first. Putting aside the BGM, Sakura and Naruto really want to know how Sasuke will react when he sees his eyes. Strange. Seeing the two friends urging him, although he felt a little strange, he still picked up the mirror and looked at it. This is my Sharingan evolved. That's right, when Sasuke was playing Katryo with his Sharingan, he had successfully evolved both eyes into 3 Megatama without realizing it. He was immersed in the annoyance of playing the game just now and didn't notice any problem. But the three people next to him saw clearly that not long after Sasuke reached the save point, his Sharingan had already completed the evolution. As for why the three people didn't tell him immediately, it was because of Liang's stop. He wanted to see if this game could make Sasuke angry enough to open the manger key. Unfortunately, Sasuke's patience was limited, or this game was really too torturous, causing him to quit the game before even passing the first level and choose not to play. Moreover, Sasuke also said righteously that he would never play the game again even if he died. This is why the three people's expressions were so weird at the time. Now that he knows that his Sharingan has evolved into 3 Megatama, will Sasuke fulfill this oath and stop playing Katryo, or will he forget the oath just now and continue playing the game? This is very exciting. Sasuke, how do you feel? Do you have an urge to continue playing games? Sasuke's face turned pale. The Sharingan evolved into 3 Megatama, which is naturally a good thing. The bad thing is that he just said too much, which made him a little embarrassed. Not only that, now Liang came to tease him again, which made Sasuke's face even worse. It's okay not to play games. It's just a chance to open the Manjaki Sharingan. It's really not a big deal. Naruto, Sakura, don't you think? Naruto, this is a big deal. Sakura, it should be a big deal, right? Liang, Naruto and Sakura sang in unison, which completely drove Sasuke crazy. Now there is an opportunity to evolve the 3 Megatama Sharingan into a Manjaki. Just because of his nonsense just now, he is going to let it go? Of course, he can't let it go. After taking a few deep breaths, Sasuke picked up the mouse and prepared to play Katryo again. Liang, didn't someone just say that he would not play this game, even if he was hanged to death? Naruto, yes, I remember someone did say that. Sakura, Hey, don't be so excessive, you two. Although someone did say that, you don't have to say it out loud. What are you talking about? At this time, Sasuke suddenly turned his head and looked at the three people who were talking nonsense with a puzzled look on his face. His expression was quite innocent. Damn, if I hadn't seen it with my own eyes and heard it with my own ears just now, I would have almost believed it. Well, the always proud Sasuke also began to become shameless. For the sake of Mangekyou, it's just a face, it's gone. After being completely shameless, Sasuke suddenly felt that he had opened the door and window to a new world. Seeing the depressed expressions on the faces of Liang and the other two, Sasuke felt that it felt really good to be shameless. It's over. Sasuke was not played badly by me, was he? Among the three members of Team 7, Naruto is also a shameless guy, and now Sasuke has joined. Will Team 7 be renamed the Shameless Team in the future? I wonder if Itachi will drive a Gundam to fight him when he knows that Sasuke has his side. Just when Liang focused all his attention on Sasuke, Tsunade was playing a game in the corner of the internet cafe with an angry face. Looking at her computer screen, it was Cat Rio. Tsunade-sama, why don't we stop playing? Shizune, who was standing aside, watched Tsunade playing the game with gritted teeth, and her hands holding Tantan began to tremble. She knew how hot Tsunade's temper was. Now she was at the moment before the volcano erupted. If she was stimulated by something, there was no guarantee that Tsunade would do something crazy. No, I will fight this crappy game to the death today. Speaking of which, Tsunade has been busy reviewing documents these days. In the document, there are policies that Konoha needs to implement in the near future, and some things used in her succession ceremony. All of these need to be reviewed by her, the prospective Hokage. Today, she finally had a break and was thinking about going to the internet cafe to play games to relax. As a result, she chose the game Cat Rio. She was originally a person with a temper that would explode at the slightest touch, and she was able to endure it until now without an outburst, which was completely a face giving to Liang. However, when Tsunade was trapped again, she couldn't help it anymore. Damn game, destroy it for me. Tsunade-sama, calm down. Seeing Tsunade raised her fist and was about to attack, Shizune quickly put down Tantan, and then she lay on Tsunade with her whole body, trying to stop her from attacking. Tsunade-sama, calm down. Impulse is the devil. If you smash this computer, that devil boss will definitely blackmail you for a sum of money. In Shizune's opinion, who can make such a heartbreaking game, if not the devil? Shizune, let go. I'm the Hokage. I don't believe that guy dares to blackmail me. Blackmail what? Are you guys performing acrobatics? Originally, Liang didn't pay attention to this place. All his energy was focused on observing Sasuke. However, when Tantan ran to his feet and kept humming, he noticed Tsunade in the corner. Seeing that she wanted to damage his computer, how could this be tolerated? He quickly walked over to stop Tsunade. Boss, please persuade Lady Tsunade. Chapter 184 Tsunade surrenders. The appearance of Liang made Shizune let go of Tsunade's body. As a girl, this kind of thing is always a bit indecent. If it weren't for stopping Tsunade, she wouldn't have made such a move. Now that Liang has arrived as the boss, Tsunade-sama should not mash the computer. In fact, facing the furious Tsunade, Liang also had a headache. If this guy wasn't the Hokage, he would definitely throw her out without saying a word. But this guy's the next Hokage, and he is about to take office, which is very annoying. But no matter how annoying it is, stopping Tsunade from smashing the computer is the most important thing. But how to stop her? After thinking about it, Liang decided to use courtesy first and then force. First use soft tactics, and if that doesn't work, then use hard tactics directly. I have something to say, please listen to me, Tsunade. Hearing this, Tsunade frowned and said, speak. You have to pay for smashing the computer. Originally, the people around wanted to know how Liang was going to persuade Tsunade, who was in a state of rage. The result is like this? Money? I, Tsunade, will soon be the 5th Hokage of Konoha village. Do you think I will be short of money? The position of Hokage is indeed very suitable for making money. because of the power structure of the top leaders, except for some unimportant powers such as torture and public security, which are allocated to the people below. Powers such as finance and education are all managed by the Hokage. Moreover, even if some powers are allocated to other people, it is very easy for the Hokage to take them back. This is also one of the reasons why the Sarutobi family took the opportunity to grow and develop after Sarutobi Hiruzen came to power. There is no way the power of the Hokage is indeed too great. However, Tsunade's words clearly show that she wants to make a lot of money after taking office. Is this really okay? Fortunately, the ninjas around know that Tsunade is in a bad mood now, and she may not take her words seriously. Even if she really wants to make money, when she comes to power, they can't do anything about it. Everyone knows that Tsunade likes to gamble, so why choose her to be the Hokage? Konoha really has no one else. Is it necessary to let Jiraiya, who writes HS novels, be the Hokage? Konoha can't afford to lose face. Among the short people, only Tsunade can be the Hokage. I know you have money, but this computer is very expensive. I want to see how expensive this computer is. The angry Tsunade doesn't care about that. Now, at this moment, she wants to smash this computer that she thinks is very hateful. Clenching her right hand, inputting chakra, and posing. Seeing that this computer is about to fall into Tsunade's hands, Liang said the price of the computer at this time. One computer is 100 million taels. Smash it if it suits you. 100 million taels? The number that Liang broke out made Tsunade dumbfounded. She knew that this kind of computer must be worth a lot of money, but she thought that it would be at most a few million taels. Tens of millions would not be possible, let alone 100 million. Indeed, Liang exchanged it from them all, and a computer only needed 1 million taels. But how to say it? There is no such computer in the whole ninja world now, only Liang has it. Everyone knows what business is the most profitable. Of course, it is monopoly. Liang not only monopolized computers, but also games. It's only 100 million taels, isn't it expensive? Shit, why don't you go rob a bank for 100 million taels? Tsunade became more and more angry. This price was clearly a blackmail to her. Haha, robbing a bank is not only slow, but also a crime. It's so good now. It's easy to make money and it's not against the law. Looking at Liang, who was fearless, the people around him were all worried for him. At the same time, they were thinking, if the boss and the Hokage fought, who should they help? Logically, these guys must help the Hokage. But unfortunately, the first thought of the players was not to help the Hokage, but to help Liang. This idea scared the players as soon as it appeared. Only then did they realize that they could not leave the internet cafe. As Konoha ninjas, they felt ashamed. For this reason, many of them had left this place of trouble and came to the rest area, eating melon seeds, while observing the changes in the players' behavior. Hey, you guys are going too far. Not only did you not come to mediate the fight, but you all went to eat sunflower seeds. Is there any ninja like this? Liang complained about these guys in his heart, but he looked at Tsunade seriously. At this time, Tsunade was a bit caught in a dilemma. If you say you want to spend it, this 100 million taels is indeed a very huge amount. Even if she becomes the Hokage, she can't take it out in a short time. If you don't say you want to spend it, where will she put her face as a Hokage? Oh, right, Hokage? I'm not the Hokage yet. Thinking about the debt collectors who often chased her in the past, Tsunade didn't have any face left. At this moment, Tsunade desperately winked at Shizune, trying to find a way out. Shizune, who had been with Tsunade for many years, saw this look and immediately understood it. It's not because Shizune is so smart, but because Tsunade uses this kind of look too much. Whenever she has no money and wants to run away, Shizune will come out to smooth things over and create opportunities for Tsunade to run away. Tsunade-sama, I remember that the two advisors, Mito-sama and Jutane-sama, asked you to have lunch together at noon. Shizune, I have to criticize you. Why did you only mention such an important thing now? I almost forgot it. Tsunade said as if nothing had happened and walked towards the door of the internet cafe calmly. As she walked, she was still scolding Shizune until her figure disappeared from everyone's sight. as expected of the 5th generation Hokage, Tsunade-sama. This shameless look is really unique. Everyone agreed with Naruto's muttering. Just now, he had the momentum of smashing this broken computer, but in the blink of an eye, he became calm and walked out of the internet cafe as if nothing had happened. This kind of demeanor is really not something that ordinary people can have. So, if you want to be a Hokage, you still have a lot to learn. After Tsunade left, the spectators naturally did what they had to do, and Liang also returned to Sasuke's side. Indeed, if I were bullied like this by you, uncle, I would definitely not be able to swallow this anger and would smash the computer with gritted teeth. Do you think Tsunade has swallowed this anger? Shaking his head, Liang continued to explain to Naruto that Tsunade just had to surrender due to the situation. This does not mean that she is not angry. If there is an opportunity to deal with me in the future, she will definitely not let it go and will even add fuel to the fire. Is that so? Believe me, Naruto, Tsunade has a bad temper. If she was alone, she would smash the computer without saying a word. But now she is about to become the 5th Hokage, and she swallows her anger only for Konoha. Sure enough, I have a lot to learn. Chapter 185 Mission completed. Unsatisfactory new game. What Liang said made sense to Naruto. Because of the internet cafe, Naruto is not as stupid as in the original work. On the contrary, he is quite clever. But no matter how smart he is just a child. Just like a genius with an IQ as high as Shikamaru, his thinking also has its own limitations. The adult world is never easy. This is the case with Tsunade now, and it is also the case with Naruto who became Hokage in the original work. The internet cafe closed at night. Sitting on the sofa, Liang was thinking about whether to join some other cheating games tomorrow. Because the game Cat Rio is no longer suitable for Sasuke. After playing Cat Rio for 6 hours in a row, Sasuke did not show any signs of evolving his Sharingan, except that his eyes became redder and his emotions became more excited. Even if the second level of the game is more cheating than the first level, it did not play any role in the evolution of Sharingan. However, by making Sasuke's eyes become 3 Megatama, Cat Rio can barely be regarded as having completed its mission. Now, Cat Rio is no longer suitable for Sasuke, so what about other games? Looking at the pitfall games in the minigame mall, Liang hesitated for a moment. He didn't know whether these games would make the Sharingan evolve into a Manjaki. If they were useful, he would try to make a few big games, not to mention a few mini-games. But if they were ineffective, then these games would only be used to fill the inventory. Didn't you see that few people played Cat Rio this time? Nonsense. After seeing the violence of Sasuke and Tsunade, who would play Cat Rio if they were full? So, Liang was now in a dilemma. Should he redeem these pitfall games or not? After thinking for a while, he still felt that he should not redeem them for the time being. First, he was not sure whether these games would be effective. Second, if he continued to stimulate Sasuke for a period of time, even if there was an effect, it would not be too great. He decided to wait for a while and see if he could find a more reliable solution during this period of time, and Sasuke could take the opportunity to take a break. If he did this frequently, Liang was afraid that he would mess with Sasuke. He was still counting on Sasuke and Naruto to confront Otsutsuki, but he couldn't mess with these two. Since you don't want to exchange for small games, then complete this mission and make a big game. In fact, Liang had already saved up the 100 million taels needed for this mission. Not only enough, but also more. Task: the amount of money in the internet cafe reaches 100 million taels. Completed. Task reward: 48 sets of supporting computers, 1 of 3 standalone games, and host authority upgrade. 3 standalone games to choose from: Resident Evil 1, Story version, StarCraft 1, Normal version, Need for Speed 10, Ultimate Experience version, hosts current authority level. 4 feet new task: the amount of money in the internet cafe reaches 200 million taels. Task progress: 4124/20,000 task reward, 96 sets of supporting computers, 1 of 3 standalone games, and host authority upgrade. After completing the task, 48 more computers were added, and Liang placed 30 of them on the Konoha side. He bought 2 more sets from the mall, and together with the remaining 18 sets from the mission, a total of 20 sets were placed at the Sand Village. In this way, Konoha had 90 computers, and Sand Village had 60 computers. The 2 internet cafes together had a total of 150 computers. According to the prosperity of Konoha, when Tsunade completely lifted the restrictions, these 90 computers would definitely not be enough, but now they could still make do, and they would have time to make up for it whenever she lifted the restrictions. There was no need to increase the 60 computers at the Sand Village side for now. Sand Village was not Konoha. Even among the civilians in Konoha, there were some wealthy people who had assets to support them in playing games, but if the civilians in Sand Village were asked to spend money to play games, it was estimated that no one would be willing to do it. After all, they were too poor. The computer issue was settled, and the next step was to choose one of the 3 games. In addition to the 2 games that appeared in the last mission, a new game, Need for Speed 10, was added. Liang was very dissatisfied with this new game. The Need for Speed series of games is very popular on Earth. Players can experience the extreme pleasure of racing while playing the game. Unfortunately, this game is very suitable for ordinary people, but not for ninjas. Want to experience the thrill of speed? Can't these ninjas run by themselves? The maximum speed of some jonins is not much slower than the speed of these supercars. Besides, even if the running speed is not that fast, isn't it still sword play? Learning to fly with a sword is much more reliable than driving. So for such a game, Liang is really disappointed. It seems that I can only exchange for StarCraft 1. Apart from the 2 modern games, the background of StarCraft 1 is in the future. The technology of the future will always be much stronger than modern technology. Apart from other things, modern technology will definitely not be able to make spaceships that can travel between stars. In addition to human technology, the technology and magic of the Protoss, and the self-repair technology of the Zerg are also very useful in this ninja world. It's okay to exchange for StarCraft 1. If any blind Otsutsuki offends me, I will exchange for a spaceship and go to their hometown to drop a nuclear bomb. The Otsutsuki can absorb chakra, but it's impossible that he can absorb nuclear bombs. When the time comes, the mushroom eggs will wash the ground one by one. I wonder if you Otsutsuki are afraid. After deciding on the game to exchange, the next step is the new function added after the authority upgrade that Liang is most interested in. Host's current authority level. Forfeit unlock new function, animation. This new function is actually animation. With a thought, Liang opened the system mall, and he found the animation column in it. Click to open, and immediately a bunch of animations appeared in the mall, waiting for his exchange. Animation, as the name suggests, is a combination of animation and comics. In addition to exchanging animated animations in the mall, Liang can also exchange comics that have not been animated. The exchange of animations is very simple. Liang only needs to make a little move, and the animations he exchanged will naturally appear in the computer of the internet cafe after paying the money. Comics are a bit complicated. To redeem comics, Liang must also mark out an area in the internet cafe or build a small room to store comics. Currently, Liang has no need to redeem comics, so he is not in a hurry to build this area and room. As for the animation, this is like a pillow that comes when you want to sleep. Liang was just thinking of using a different method to make Sasuke awaken the main Gekio. Isn't this a coincidence? As long as Sasuke watches this animation, I don't believe he won't get the main Gekio out of him. Hehe. Chapter 186 Hokage Succession Ceremony. Let's put the anime aside. Today, Liang did not open the store for the first time. Instead, he walked out of the store and headed to the core of Konoha. Boss, are you not opening the store today? On the way, some regular customers were surprised to see Liang on the street. They, the old players, knew that Boss Joe would not go out easily. The last time he went out was to open a branch in Sunagakure, and this time. Nonsense. Today is the day when the 5th Hokage succeeds to the throne. Who should I open a store for? That's right, after several days of preparation, today is the day when Tsunade officially becomes the 5th Hokage. In fact, the day after Jiraiya left, Utatane Koharu and Mitaman had already started preparing. It's not that they have the ability to predict the future, but the Hokage succession ceremony takes almost a month to prepare. When they come back, whether it's Jiraiya or Tsunade, Konoha only needs to report their names to the daimyo of the Land of Fire, and after the daimyo agrees, they can immediately organize it. Speaking of which, Konoha's Hokage still needs the recognition of the daimyo of the Land of Fire, which is a bit strange, no matter how you look at it. But there is no way. The daimyo is the nominal ruler of the Land of Fire, and Konoha village is just a town under the daimyo's rule. In terms of rank, the Hokage is half a level lower than the daimyo. Of course, Konoha has absolute power over the selection of the Hokage, and reporting the name to the daimyo is just a sign of respect for him. If the daimyo disagrees with the selection of the Hokage, will Konoha really change the person? Don't be ridiculous. Even if the daimyo is the ruler of the Land of Fire and the big money bag of Konoha, he will not anger the Konoha ninja for no reason. It can be said that the daimyo's mansion and Konoha village are in a symbiotic relationship. Without the existence of the daimyo's mansion, Konoha will have much less military expenditure every year. Without Konoha village, the daimyo's mansion is also afraid of being invaded by other countries. One is in charge of the economy, and the other is in charge of the military. If the two sides really quarrel, the one in charge of the economy will definitely not be able to beat the one in charge of the military. For a specific example, you can refer to the Song dynasty on Earth. Therefore, whether it is Jiraiya or Tsunade, there is no need for the daimyo to refuse. This is just a formality. This is also the reason why Tsunade immediately began to perform the duties of Hokage, and started working, after returning to the village. The succession ceremony of the Hokage is complicated and simple. To say it is complicated, this ceremony takes a month to prepare. To say it is simple, in fact, the new Hokage comes out to say encouraging words, and then inspects Konoha village as appropriate, and then it's done. The reason why it takes a month to prepare, in Liang's opinion, should be to ensure the safety of the inauguration ceremony. Think about it, when Tsunade is talking in the Hokage building, someone suddenly runs out and says something like "I object." Wouldn't it be embarrassing? In a month, Konoha increased the intensity of inspections. On the one hand, they want to catch some spies who are sabotaging. On the other hand, they also warn these people not to let them sabotage. Everyone is good. I'm good. Everyone is good. It has to be said that Konoha is still very deterrent at this time. Although the third generation Hokage Sarutobi Hiruzen sacrificed, Tsunade, one of the three ninjas, immediately came out to take over and became the fifth generation Hokage. Even though villages like the Cloud Ninja and the Earth Ninja are not afraid of Konoha, they will not take action during the Hokage ceremony. The Great Ninja Village still has magnanimity. Lady Tsunade is out on the roof of the Hokage building when Tsunade, dressed in Hokage attire, appeared in front of everyone. The atmosphere of the venue immediately reached a climax. Behind her followed Mito Kadoen and Utane Koharu. Finally, Jiraiya. He stood in front of Tsunade on the right, holding a Hokage hat in his hand and quietly waiting for Tsunade. Silence. The inauguration ceremony of the fifth Hokage begins now. As Mito Kadoen stepped forward, the people below the Hokage building stopped cheering, and the scene immediately changed from a noisy and lively scene to a silent and quiet scene. She is the granddaughter of the first Hokage and the second Hokage. She standardized the medical system of the ninja world, and is recognized as a medical expert in the ninja world. She made outstanding contributions to Konoha during the two ninja world wars. She holding a huge scroll, Mizuta read aloud Tsunade's background and her contributions to Konoha. When the fourth Hokage Namikaze Minato came to power, Mizuta did the same thing. Now it's just that Namikaze Minato has been replaced by Tsunade. He is familiar with this means of creating momentum. Every time he talks about Tsunade's background or achievements, it also indicates that Tsunade's reputation in Konoha is rising. After all, Tsunade has been away from Konoha for a long time. The older generation or the middle-aged and young generation may know Tsunade's past, but the younger generation certainly doesn't know. In order to tell these people how awesome Tsunade is, appropriate praise is necessary. Moreover, some things should be said in front of others, so that others will know how much you have done and how awesome you are. Even those who are very familiar with Tsunade, now suddenly heard what Mitomanen said, and immediately felt, damn, Tsunade is so powerful. This is the benefit of publicity. She is the protagonist today. Our 5th generation Hokage, Tsunade drawed Tsunade-sama I love you. When the announcement was finished, Tsunade's reputation reached its peak, and the audience under the building began to applaud and cheer. The scene became lively again. At this time, Jiraiya, who was quietly waiting on the side, walked up to Tsunade with a Hokage hat in his hand. Tsunade, put on this hat, and you will be the 5th generation Hokage of Konoha village. Haha, if I don't wear this hat, I will not be a Hokage? Hearing this, Jiraiya smiled bitterly. This really sounds like something Tsunade can say. But Tsunade just said so. She still honestly took the hat and put it on her head. From this moment on, Tsunade will take over as the 5th Hokage of Konoha village. Raw great, we have a Hokage again. Tsunade-sama is mighty. Tsunade-sama is awesome. Tsunade-sama is the best in the world. Amid the cheers of countless people, Tsunade took a step forward and walked to the guardrail on the top floor. Looking at the people below, Tsunade smiled and said, I, Tsunade, swear here that I will never let those lawless elements bully my villagers, and I will definitely make Konoha strong forever. Tsunade didn't say too much in her oath, but everyone could see that she looked very serious and earnest when she spoke. At this moment, the free man Tsunade had disappeared and was replaced by Tsunade, who inherited the duties of Hokage. Strong and powerful. Chapter 187 Sasuke. What? Another surprise? Tsunade's succession ceremony is over, and the next is the carnival of the whole village. Today, Konoha has a new Hokage, and such a happy thing naturally makes some shops see business opportunities. Under the guise of celebrating the succession of the Hokage, these shops have joined together to launch a series of preferential activities to enhance the purchasing desire of civilians and make a good profit. Liang has seen a lot of such seemingly preferential activities that are actually money-making pits. What kind of preferential activities are not available on Earth? Coupons, rebates for attracting people, first increase and then decrease, etc. There are many varieties and no duplication. What is it for? It's not for performance. If you really listen to the merchant saying that the cost price is a loss, then you are really stupid. Are the people of Konoha stupid? In fact, they are not stupid. They just have limited knowledge, which does not mean that their IQ is low. On such a special day, even if they suffer a little loss, these people will probably buy more or less. What's more, the merchants will also use routines, which makes the commercial street even more popular. Uncle, aren't you going to buy something? It was rare for Liang to go out for the first time, and he also wanted to have a good look around Konoha. This time, he happened to meet Naruto. Naruto was not alone at this time, and he was accompanied by Karin and Hinata. The whole scene looked very harmonious, but after a closer look, Liang found that Naruto's forehead was already sweating, and his expression was not very natural. When he saw Liang, it was also obvious that he was relieved. Shaking his head, Liang would not intervene in Naruto's sure field. If you have the ability to pick up girls, you naturally have to take the risk of picking up girls. Based on Liang's understanding of Naruto, the probability of his overturning is still relatively high. It may be possible to play dumb to deal with Hinata, but it is definitely not enough to deal with Karin. So, Naruto should just pray for the best. Turning his head, Liang pretended not to see Naruto and disappeared in the crowd in a flash, leaving Naruto with a dazed look. Karin, Naruto, let's go play that, okay? Hinata, Naruto, do you want some sticky rice balls? I'll sell them to you, okay? Naruto. Not long after leaving Naruto, Liang turned around and ran into Sasuke again. Like Naruto, Sasuke was also accompanied by two beautiful girls. One was Hiruno Sakura, and the other was Yamanaka Ino. Mr. Jen, what do you mean by old? I don't know you. Goodbye. Liang left again. This time he decided to go to another street. The aura of this street was against him. He knew that he was still single, but he always encountered some things that made him eat dog food. Haha, this kind of thing shouldn't happen on this street, right? Dog food. I won't eat it. As soon as he finished speaking, he saw Asuma holding Yuhikuno's little hand, eating snacks while walking on the street. Mr. Jen. Goodbye. Asuma, Yuhikuno. Liang decided to go back to the internet cafe. He no longer wanted to feel the sour smell of love from these damn winners. I suddenly feel that I'm being targeted by this world. Damn, where is the heroine? Why is this book so long, and I'm still a single dog? Author, I despise you. Author, I'm still a single dog. I will consider you when I'm no longer single. Liang, convex convex. No matter what, Tsunade's Hokage succession ceremony is over, and Liang also spent a day that made him feel better. The sun rises, and the moon sets, and the sun rises as usual. Liang, who is in a bad mood, decided that he would restore society. MD, you made me feel unhappy yesterday, and today I will let you experience what it means to be truly evil in human hearts. With a sinister smile, Liang opened the system mall and exchanged the anime he had selected the night before. You can put the comics aside for a while, let the animation take the lead. I don't believe that, after watching this animation, Sasuke and Naruto will feel uncomfortable and want to vomit blood. When thinking of some of the sexy operations in the animation and the uncomfortable looks of Sasuke and Naruto in a while, Liang couldn't help but want to laugh. Sinister smile, sly smile, silly smile, crazy laugh. Boss, what's wrong with you? If you have something happy, come out and make us happy too. Did you step on dog shit when you went out? Damn, you stepped on shit. Your whole family stepped on shit. Then why did you laugh so cheaply just now? I'm cheap to your brother-in-law. Did you come to the internet cafe specifically to chat with me? Do you want to play or not? If not, get out of here. Seeing that Liang seemed to be in a bad mood, the ninja wisely chose to shut up. After paying the money with an embarrassed look on his face, he deliberately found a computer farthest away from Liang. HMPH, if you can't talk, don't talk. I stepped on shit. Is stepping on shit a happy thing? As Liang cursed, today's customers began to come one after another. In order to ensure that Sasuke and Naruto were the first to see this animation, Liang was very considerate to hide the animation first, so as to avoid others and these two guys spoiling the effect he wanted. TSK, why haven't these two guys come today? Liang was looking forward to Sasuke and Naruto coming. He couldn't wait to see the uncomfortable expressions of the two. Uncle, we are here. But it was Liang's call that worked. Not long after, Sasuke and Naruto came to the internet cafe together. Naturally, Karin and Sakura also came with them. Hehe, Naruto, Sasuke, today I specially prepared a surprise for you. I hope you like it. Really? A day passed, and Naruto seemed to have forgotten yesterday's Shurafield, looking at Liang with full energy and expectation. Boss, you are not going to make some crappy games to mess with us again, are you? Sasuke was afraid of Liang's so-called surprise. Look at what the boss's so-called surprises are. Pixel Bird, Dig Survival, Cat Rio. Is this a surprise? This is clearly a shock. Sasuke's 3 Magatama Sharingan is the evidence. From 2 Magatama to 3 Magatama, you can imagine how huge the surprise Sasuke endured at that time. If it were all this kind of surprise, Sasuke felt that he might not be shocked out of the kaleidoscope, but would be pissed off by these surprises first. Don't worry, this time it's not a game, but an animation that guarantees your satisfaction. Is that so? Then I'm relieved. Hearing that it was not a game, Sasuke immediately breathed a sigh of relief. As long as it's not one of those crappy games, everything is fine. Liang. Haha, no matter how cunning you are, you have to drink my bath water. Chapter 188 Come Out, the masterpiece Boruto Next Generations. Boss, are these the animations you mentioned as surprises for Naruto Next Generations? Boruto Next Generations? Among the 4 people, only Naruto and Sasuke turned on their computers. Sakura and Karin did not turn on their computers, but chose to stay with them on the left and right. Yes, it's this animation. I promise you will like it very much. Looking at Liang's increasingly weird smile, Sasuke always felt that something was wrong, but he couldn't put his finger on it. After thinking for a while, he tried to ask, is this animation related to us? Hearing this, Liang gave Sasuke a thumbs up and said with certainty, yes, if I hadn't appeared in the ninja world, your future destiny would be like the plot in this animation. Is that so? Liang's words contained too much information, which made Sasuke feel a little headache. To this day, most Konoha ninjas have a guess in their hearts, that is, Liang is not a person in the ninja world. Looking at the internet cafe he opened, and the games on his computer, none of them look like the products that should be in the ninja world. Especially games. Ninjas can actually learn skills and spells in games. This ability is incredible. If Liang now announced that he was not from the ninja world but an alien, these ninjas would probably not be too surprised. Now hearing what Liang said, Sasuke immediately realized that this boss did not seem to be from the ninja world, and he actually knew what would happen in the future of the ninja world, and presented these things in the animation. This ability was simply too terrifying for Sasuke. Fortunately, I have never offended him. After silently saying this in his heart, Sasuke stopped thinking about those things. Now he really wanted to know what his future fate would be like. Through the introduction, Sasuke knew that the protagonist of this animation should be Naruto's son, a guy named Boruto, and the story told should also be the story of their younger generation. Seeing this, not only Naruto and Sasuke became interested in this animation, but even Sakura and Karin showed an interested look. They also wanted to know who Naruto and Sasuke married in the end. After glancing at the catalog, I found that this animation has about 150 episodes, and the status still says serialized, which seems to be not finished yet. Now, let's take a look at the stories that happened in my son's era. The era of ninjas is about to end. This is the first line that appears after the animation officially starts. Yes, ninjas are indeed something backward that needs to be eliminated. Naruto and Sasuke agreed in their hearts. They have played Chinese Paladin 1 and the King of Fighters 97, and have watched the demigods and semi-devils and other film and television works in a possessed state. Both of them are full of doubts about the profession of ninja. Is this profession really as good as described in the book? Why do people always have to fight and kill? Isn't it good to live in peace? The more they experience, the more they think. The more they think, the more they feel that the profession of ninja will inevitably be eliminated in the future. Without talking about anything else, when more and more people come into contact with internet cafes and learn many skills and spells in the game, will ninjas still be ninjas? Of course, Sasuke and Naruto don't need to worry about these things. Anyway, even if the sky falls, there are tall people to hold it up. They are just low-level ninjas now, and it's not their turn to deal with such things. The screen is pulled back to the animation. When the first line appeared, the camera in the animation suddenly turned, and Sasuke and the other four saw that Konoha in the animation had become a ruin. Even the 7 statues of the Hokage rock had been damaged. At this time, 2 teenagers with black lines all over their bodies, about 15 or 16 years old, were standing sideways on the damaged Hokage rock and fighting. Both of them are very strong. Although due to the limitations of the animation, the combat power in it must be different from the real combat power, but Sasuke and Naruto can also see from the side that the strength of these 2 people is strong. After the fight, the 2 began to talk. From their conversation, we learned that the guy with black hair is called Konoki. The other one with yellow hair is Naruto's son, Uzumaki Boruto. Huh. My son will look like this in the future? It's not that Naruto is dissatisfied with Boruto's appearance, but this tattoo really makes Naruto a little unacceptable. Naruto, stop talking and keep watching. Sasuke was a little dissatisfied with Naruto's voice, so he quickly interrupted him and told him to watch the animation carefully. Okay. Naruto nodded, and he knew that now was not the time to complain, so he immediately shut up. I'll send you to your father, the 7th Hokage too, Boruto. In the animation, Konoki spoke the lines indifferently. Will I become the 7th Hokage in the future? That's really great. Well, Naruto, who was originally prepared to keep silent, was so happy after learning that he would become Hokage in the future that he was completely lost. Shut up, Naruto. Sorry, it's my fault. The animation continued, and time went back a few years, and began to tell the story of Boruto's childhood. At this time, Boruto's Naruto next generations really began. Perhaps because of their concern for the younger generation, or perhaps because they wanted to get some information from the animation, Sasuke and Naruto did not choose to skip episodes or fast forward, but watched honestly. Among them, when she learned that Naruto's wife was Hinata, Karen pouted and looked very unhappy, which made Naruto, who was watching the animation, look very embarrassed. But Sakura looked very sweet after she learned that she would eventually marry Sasuke, and she leaned on Sasuke. Not for any reason. Sasuke did not push Sakura away and let her lean on him. The four of them watched the animation quietly until they saw Boruto get into trouble, driving the thunder car off the track and directly crashing the Hokage rock. Sasuke and Sakura couldn't help but look at Naruto with twitching eyes. Damn bear child. The development of this plot made Naruto feel a sense of deja vu. Isn't this what he did when he was a child? But that Naruto just graffitied on the Hokage rock, not like Boruto driving a car and directly crashing it. As expected of your son, Naruto, he is even better than his father. Shut up, Sasuke. Things have changed, and now it's Naruto's turn to tell Sasuke to shut up. The animation continues, and as Boruto enters the ninja school, the plot begins to slowly advance. In order to highlight the new characters, the older generation of characters are madly weakened and defeated, and the plot of elementary school students saving the world is constantly staged. The four people don't care much about these contents. What they really care about are some details about the new era, mixed in the plot. Chapter 189 Sasuke, will I have the Rinnegan in the future? The four people who watched the animation, apart from occasionally complaining about Shino, Kiba and other guys of their generation, were too lazy to care about some unreasonable plots. However, when Naruto saw that he, the 7th Hokage, was busy with work and didn't even care about his family, which led to his silly son named Boruto being so lawless, just like when he was a child, relying on pranks everywhere to attract attention, he couldn't help it anymore. What kind of a crappy plot is this? Even if I become Hokage, I won't ignore my family, and I won't let my son rely on pranks to attract attention. Failure, a complete failure. Career life, and the education of future generations are all a mess. Naruto was very angry. He was originally an orphan. In his heart, nothing is more important than his family. Even the dream of becoming a Hokage is not as important as his family. Seeing the Naruto in the animation, who doesn't care about his family, and Boruto seems to be following his old path, how can Naruto not be angry? Calm down, Naruto. Look carefully. I don't exist in the animation. Uncle, I understand what you mean, but I just can't help being angry. Oh, how angry. I can't wait to rush into the animation, beat myself up first, and then beat up that stupid son. Haha, believe me, there's a chance, there's a chance. A chance? Naruto was surprised. He was just talking casually. After all, he couldn't be allowed to travel into the animation. Even if he could travel in, he didn't have the confidence to beat Naruto, who became Hokage. Well, you'll know when the time comes. It's estimated that Naruto can't beat Naruto. First of all, strength is a big problem. Although Naruto is very strong now, when facing Naruto's Kurama mode, even if Naruto uses a 10,000 swords technique, he has no chance of winning. If you want to beat the big man, you have to learn the sword to subdue the demon first. Secondly, the current internet cafes don't really have the function of letting people travel through time. The reason why he can beat Boruto is that he will travel through time with Sasuke soon. When they arrive, little Naruto will naturally have a chance to beat up Boruto, the son who cheated his father. Time passed slowly, and the plot passed one episode after another. When 6 hours passed, Naruto and Sasuke were actually attracted by the plot of Boruto. Damn, how can this crappy animation attract people? As a result, Sasuke and Naruto urged Karen and Sakura to get on the plane quickly so that they could watch the next plot. In fact, some of the previous episodes of Boruto have various points. For example, Shino has become unable to beat even the students of the ninja school. Red Bean, who is a complete nobody, has turned into a fat aunt. But these are all trivial matters. What they are most interested in is still about themselves. For example, Naruto cares about his son Boruto and his daughter Himori, and Sasuke and Sakura care about Sarada. As for Karen, she feels like a third party given away for recharging her phone bill. She appeared very early in the book. Why didn't Boruto show anything about her? Don't worry, just keep watching, you will always appear in the animation. After comforting Karen, everyone continued to watch the animation. In general, the plot of the first 18 episodes is to introduce the characters and make a wave of stupid plots, which can be regarded as the first chapter of the opening. In the 19th episode, Boruto began a new chapter, also known as Sarada looking for her father. At this time, everyone felt that the exciting stage of the animation was about to begin. In this plot, Uchiha Sarada, the daughter of Sakura and Sasuke, suspected that her mother was not Sakura, so under the leadership of Naruto, she found her father Sasuke, who had been away from home for many years. Because she was about to see her father, Sarada was too happy to open her Sharingan directly. Then, the elder Sasuke showed the same stupid level of parent-child relationship handling method as the 7th generation Hokage Naruto, and almost strangled his daughter to death. In this chapter, Karen saw herself in the animation as she wished. But she was very puzzled, because she obviously liked Naruto. Why did she like Sasuke in the animation? And why did Sasuke's daughter Sarada look so much like herself? Well, this question is worth pondering. When Karen was thinking deeply, little Sasuke was very angry when he saw himself in the animation almost strangling his daughter. He thought that the Sasuke in the animation was simply a fool. It was okay that he didn't go home for many years, but he didn't even recognize his own daughter. Why would such a person marry Sakura? Isn't this harming people? The plot continues. Orochimaru has an experimental subject named Shin, a villain who can transplant all other organs without side effects, and without any rejection reaction appeared with his bunch of cloned sons. But he was beaten up by Sasuke and Sakura, so that they showed their strength in front of their juniors. In the end, Sarada's misunderstanding was resolved and everyone was happy. In the animation, both Sakura's strange power and Sasuke's reincarnation shocked the 4 people. Sakura's strange power is okay. The plot also said that Sakura worshipped Tsunade as her teacher, and it was not a big deal to learn strange power. But Sasuke's reincarnation is a bit scary. Little Sasuke's current wish is just to evolve the Sharingan into a Mangekyou. In the anime, he was given a Samsara. Boss, are you sure that without your participation in our world, I will get the Samsara? Samsara, this is not an ordinary eye. If eyes have levels, the level of this Samsara is higher than the Mangekyou Sharingan. Will I have a Samsara in the future? Sasuke said it was a bit incredible. I'm responsible for what I said. Then can you tell me how I got this Samsara? At this moment, Sasuke started to think about his own little tricks. If he knew how to get the Samsara, why would he still desperately want to evolve the Sharingan? Wouldn't it be better to use the Samsara directly? After saying that, Sasuke looked at Liang with an innocent face, hoping that this hateful boss could tell him some information. Liang knew Sasuke's plan very well. If he could afford it, Liang would definitely tell him how to get the information about the Samsara. But now this guy clearly wants to get something for nothing. Want to get information without spending a penny? I think you are dreaming. Give me 80 million Ryo, and I will give you information about the Samsara. Let's continue watching the animation. 80 million Ryo. It's not that Sasuke can't come up with it, but it's too much of a loss to spend so much money just to get a piece of information. Wouldn't it be better to use this money on training? If you're listening to this novel on a channel other than Fanfic World, it means they downloaded and uploaded it without effort. We cordially invite you to visit our channel, Mundo Fanfic Novelos. There you'll find the original version of this story and you can explore many other novels of various genres. We're waiting for you to immerse yourself in a world of incredible novels. Chapter 190. Next time you see Chijiro, you should beat him up first. The animation continued, and the next plot entered the storyline of the new Ninja Swordsman 7, Boruto and other ninja school students going to the Mist Village for a school trip. Until here, Naruto, Sasuke and the other 4 still felt that, although the animation of Boruto was not particularly good looking and there were many slots, it was still passable, and some of the high school plots in it could still make people laugh. As Boruto and his party arrived at the Mist Village, it became a modern port city. For this, the 4 people were not surprised. The technology of these reinforced concrete high-rise buildings already existed in the current ninja world, but it was limited by the world environment and could not be promoted. But then, the 5th generation Mizukage, Meditarumi, who had already abdicated at this point, appeared and gave the 4 people an opening lightning strike. How can the 5th generation Mizukage be an aunt? The straightforward person who never liked to think about names was the first to complain when he saw Terumi appear. The current 5th generation Mizukage should not be the image in the animation, right? As soon as Sasuke spoke, Liang saw the 4 people staring at him. Why are you looking at me? Uncle, do you know what the 5th Mizukage looks like? Hearing this question, Liang nodded calmly and said, of course I know. Then can you show us what the 5th Mizukage looks like now? Point, you are so troublesome. After complaining, Liang immediately exchanged a color photo of Terumi from them all. The photo of Terumi has green eyes, long brown curly hair, shaped like a tree, and her right eye is covered by her hair. With her sexy clothes, she looks like a very beautiful mature woman. So beautiful. She is indeed very beautiful, but she is. The photo of Terumi is very beautiful, but in the animation she is a real aunt. This former beauty of Shippuden, who is enough to be on par with Tsunade, is now less than 40 years old, but has become a aunt who looks at least in her 50s. Well, the 4 people can understand that Terumi is like Anko, and her figure has begun to gain weight. After the incident of Terumi was over, the 4 people began to watch the animation attentively again. As the plot develops, after the new 7 ninja swordsmen officially debuted, the smiles on the faces of the 4 people who were smiling just now began to solidify gradually. Let's briefly summarize the plot of this new 7 ninja swordsmen. At the beginning, someone in the Mist Village was dissatisfied with the current high-level policies, so 6 genin bewitched a Chunin, stole the 7 ninja swords of the Mist Village, and called themselves the 7 ninja swordsmen, preparing to launch a coup, to seize the position of Mizukage and finally set off a war. In order to stop their conspiracy, the current 6th generation Mizukage Chijiro took Boruto and other ninja school students to stop them. After a hard battle, the 6th generation Mizukage Chijiro was defeated and injured by 3 genin. In the end, the ninja school student Boruto and others showed their power and resolved the rebellion. The villain's conspiracy was crushed, and this school trip ended smoothly and returned to Konoha. Are you kidding me? The 4 people frowned when they saw this plot. When did the members of the 7 swordsmen become so weak? Genin and Chunin also want to be the 7 swordsmen? Zabuza, the current member of the 7 swordsmen, will cry. I wonder if Zabuza will go back to the hidden mist village to wipe out the roots when he sees this plot. No, even if the 7 swordsmen are no longer powerful, they are still a powerful organization composed of 7 jonin. What are these things in the animation? The 7 swordsmen. They are holding pencil sharpeners. If the members of the 7 swordsmen made the 4 people complain, then when they saw Chijiro being defeated by these scum, the 4 people really couldn't stand it. With this strength, can he be called a Mizukage? It's not that Sasuke and Naruto are bragging. If Chijiro in the animation is replaced by any one of them, believe it or not, they can deal with these 7 scum in minutes. It can only be said that he is worthy of being a Mizukage. Not only is the name watery, but the strength is also watery. The plot logic is not there, the combat system is broken, and the details of the plot are full of extreme awkwardness. In order to highlight the protagonist, even the brain is not needed. People don't know how to complain. At this moment, the mood of the 4 people is inexplicably complicated. Will their world become so ridiculous in the future? The cage of a village was defeated by a few genin. Can it be more ridiculous? If these guys were just not of the right rank, but were still very strong, they wouldn't complain. Sasuke and Naruto are strong enough, aren't they still genin? However, judging from the performance of the animation, the strength of these guys is only at the level of elite chunin at best, and this is because the 7 ninja swords have given them a boost. Can this defeat the Mizukage? If you see this guy named Chijiro in the ninja world in the future, don't worry about anything else, just beat him up. It's too embarrassing for a cage. At this moment, the 4 of them had a tacit understanding that, if they met him in the future, they would definitely not let him down. Let's not talk about Chijiro first. Does your Boruto deserve a beating? In the animation, Boruto's various magical operations made the 4 of them feel a headache. Now not only Naruto wants to beat him up, but even Sasuke, Sakura and Karin want to beat Boruto. Don't worry, I will definitely not give birth to a son, like Boruto who is a scumbag. After thinking for a while, Naruto continued, when my future son is born, I will definitely give him a lot of homework, so that he will not have the energy and time to think about other things. As a student, the most important thing is to study. Things like saving the world are better left to us, the older generation. Well, Naruto hasn't even decided on a girlfriend yet, and now he has written down the educational policy for his future son. If Naruto's child is born in the future and finds out that the reason for his tragic childhood is actually because he watched Boruto, the next generation, the child will definitely pull Boruto out and beat him up. Naruto, I will also discipline my child strictly. He won't be as weak and incompetent as Hinata in the animation. As soon as Naruto finished speaking, Karen interrupted and said something that made Naruto blush. Well, there's no rush, let's watch the animation first. Just as Naruto quickly picked up the mouse to select the next episode, Liang said inappropriately, I'm sorry, today's computer time is up. Huh, uncle, you can't do this, let us watch a few more episodes, okay? I've already reached the closing time, you've already exceeded the time. Looking at the time, it was indeed as Liang said, that they had exceeded the time by more than 10 minutes. The other players left here together, and at this time, only the 4 of them and Liang were left in the internet cafe. If you want to continue watching, please come back early tomorrow. That's the only way. After driving away the 4 little ones, Liang sat on the sofa and touched his chin, secretly calculating the time when Boruto and Sasuke would come. Chapter 191 Konohamaru is a genius. From the scene in the animation where they traveled through time and stood on the water tank, we can see that the statue of Tsunade on the Hokage rock has not been carved yet and is still a semi-finished product. In other words, the time when these 2 people traveled through time is only in the next few days. But, will these 2 people really travel through time? In fact, Liang has always been thinking about a question. Today's ninja world has been changing little by little because of his existence, and the future will definitely not be like that in Boruto. Moreover, there are internet cafes in this world, and the strength of Sasuke and Naruto will definitely exceed that in the original work. In this case, do Sasuke and Boruto still need to travel through time? I'm afraid they can directly beat Otsutsuki Urashiki's dog head locally. Therefore, if these 2 people did not travel through time, it means that the Naruto world is only a simple independent world. If these 2 people really traveled through time, it means that there is a parallel world in the Naruto world. At that time, Liang can take the opportunity to get the turtle-shaped shuttle. In this way, wouldn't he open an internet cafe in the Boruto world? How much money can he make every day if he opens internet cafes in both worlds? Don't say money is not important. Here, money means completing tasks. Completing tasks means increasing his authority. When the authority is increased to the limit, can he go back? Back to the earth, where he lives an ordinary life, but is still brilliant? The next day, Naruto, Sasuke, Karen, and Sakura came to the door of the internet cafe early in the morning and waited. They were already a little impatient to continue watching Boruto. In their opinion, although this animation has many flaws, it is closely related to them after all. Even if this animation is so bad, they have to watch it with tears. Moreover, they don't believe that the plot in this animation is always so pitfalls. They estimate that, as long as they get through this period of idiotic plot, it will be fine. Unfortunately, what they don't know is that the most idiotic part of this animation is never this episode, but the next episode. The plot continues, and soon Boruto and others graduated from the ninja school and began to be divided into classes. Naruto's son Boruto, Sasuke's daughter Sarada, and Orochimaru's son Mitsuki, who was asexually reproduced by combining his own genes with Jiraiya's, formed the new Team 7. Konohamaru, Naruto's little brother, led them to carry out the mission as a guide. Wow, this Mitsuki is actually Orochimaru's son. Incredible. Naruto and Sasuke had some say in what kind of person Orochimaru is. Despicable, cold, cunning, cold-blooded. It can be said that all the words that describe a venomous snake can be used to describe Orochimaru. Even so, Orochimaru finally succeeded in whitewashing and returning to Konoha village. This plot seems a bit magical, no matter how you look at it. in the animation, Orochimaru and Tsunade have already appeared, but Jiraiya did not appear. Could it be that he died? And Konohamaru, that little brat, can actually become a Jonin? Are you sure he is not kidding us? Okay, Konohamaru is also amazing. Okay. As his little brother, Naruto must stand up and speak for him. And Naruto didn't think Konohamaru was useless. After all, Konohamaru quickly mastered the seduction technique that he had worked hard to develop, and even the harem technique didn't stump Konohamaru. Does this mean that Konohamaru is actually a genius? To be honest, Konohamaru is really a genius. Think about it, the way Naruto taught Konohamaru the Rasengan, I'm afraid that most people like Sasuke can't learn it. But Konohamaru learned the Rasengan. I just want to ask you, if you are afraid of this talent. Therefore, it is natural for Konohamaru to grow into a Jonin in front of Liang. Okay, let's not talk too much, and continue the plot. Although this plot is as eye-catching as always, it can be seen that the main line in the animation is clear, and it has been proceeding in an orderly manner with Boruto's growth as the clue. Until Boruto and others started the Chunin exam. The four of them were very interested in this Chunin exam. They just took it not long ago, and it's inevitable to feel a little familiar when they see it in the animation again this time. However, compared to Naruto's vigorous Chunin exam, Boruto's exam gave them a bland feeling. The discussion about scientific ninja tools made them feel that Naruto didn't know how to adapt. Come on, whether it's scientific ninja tools or weapons like Samehada, they are essentially for enhancing the strength of ninjas. Maybe scientific ninja tools have some tricks, but they can also greatly enhance the strength of some mediocre ninjas and increase their chances of survival. Naruto's behavior of prohibiting scientific ninja tools is like my Great King Dynasty using machetes instead of muskets, which is simply putting the cart before the horse. Fortunately, the four of them have watched so many episodes of Boruto, and they have a certain resistance to the nature of this animation. They just treat this stupid plot as a joke. Then when they were laughing, the Otsutsuki duo, Momoshiki and Kinshiki appeared. Otsutsuki? What is that? It looks so powerful. As the big boss, Momoshiki and Kinshiki's appearance does look quite impressive. Naruto couldn't treat the fight too lightly when facing such an enemy. As long as the battle became intense, Naruto could learn some experience from Naruto's battle. If he could learn a few tricks, he would really make a profit. The fact was just as they thought, the battle was extremely intense. Facing these two Otsutsuki, the 5 Kage were on top, and the scene was extremely exciting. Aren't the other 3 Kages just here to make up the numbers except for Gaara and Naruto? This Tsuchikage wears a Chiangsam and likes to show his legs, so he might as well change his name to Leg Cage. Well, even though the battle was very intense, the 4 people found a lot of flaws in it. As that Tsuchikage and Mizukage of the 5 Kage, they were actually killed by Momoshiki in one move, and the Raikage was not much better, and was also killed in one move, after using 1 or 2 moves. Among the 5 Kage, only the Kazekage Gaara could fight Momoshiki for a few moves. Unfortunately, it was useless, and Gaara was soon defeated by Momoshiki. Now the only one left in the field who could fight Momoshiki was Naruto. What is Sasuke doing at this time? Why hasn't he come back yet? The battle started, and soon the 4 gave up complaining about that Tsuchikage and Mizukage, and focused on the plot. Seeing Naruto challenging Otsutsuki Momoshiki alone, the 4 were all worried about Naruto. Fortunately, Sasuke returned at this time, the background music sounded, and the battle entered a white-hot stage. Chapter 192 Naruto, I can't wait. In the animation, Wing-chun Naruto and Uchiha Yang fought against Bagua Momoshiki. The high-energy physical duel made the 4 people have climax after climax. They even forgot to complain and watch the plot quietly. In the end, Boruto won the battle with a huge Rasengan that Naruto made for him. He successfully beat Momoshiki into interstellar dust and gained the power of the wedge. That is, the power of the tattoo that Boruto used at the beginning of Boruto. It feels good. I said, how could Sasuke and I be weak after more than 10 years? See, the 9 tails plus Susanoo is so cool. After defeating the strong enemy, little Naruto was happier than the big Naruto in the animation. Not only because he saw how strong he would become in the future, but some of the moves used by the big Naruto gave him a lot of ideas. Okay, today's time is up. Let's continue to watch tomorrow. Naruto was very excited, but Sasuke was not so excited. In his opinion, it was natural for him to become so strong after more than 10 years. Moreover, he knew before that Sasuke had the Samsara eye. Since he had this eye, Sasuke's strength would not be too weak. Based on this cognition, Sasuke was not so surprised by Sasuke's strength. However, the Ninetales confuse with Susanoo. This move can be tried with Naruto in the future. Goodbye, uncle, we'll leave first. Goodbye. Listening to their discussion just now, and now watching their backs as they left, Liang smiled slightly. Poor little guys. After watching such a peak episode, I don't know if they will be angry to death by the following plot. It's best to be angry. Isn't this the original intention of Liang to show them Boruto? You can't let yourself be blind for such a pleasant thing. Of course, the more people know, the better. Maybe because of this fight scene, when the four continued to watch the next few episodes, they still felt good. Until the Chunin exam. Until the end of the Chunin exam, the plot became awkward again. The scriptwriter seemed to have no brains, and the four rolled their eyes. Since the plot was so stupid, Naruto and Sasuke couldn't help but fast forward to watch it. This plot is simply a moron knocking on the door of a moron's mother. It's extremely stupid. Anyway, just refer to the plot of the new Ninja Swordsman 7. The stupidity will only increase, and will never decrease. Then, as they watched, the four people summed up a rule. Boruto is very awkward when it comes to Boruto, but it is often good when it comes to daily life. The four people, who were almost vomiting from the awkwardness, fast forwarded all the way to the 93rd episode of Parent-Child Day. Watching the familiar characters and their children interacting warmly in daily life, this feeling is actually not bad. Until the new chapter, the new Otsutsuki villain Urashiki appeared. Here it comes. Another Otsutsuki villain appears. He is also an Otsutsuki. This guy should be able to present us with a wonderful battle. In view of the battle performance of Otsutsuki Momoshiki in that episode, the four people have strong expectations for Urashiki, who is also from the Otsutsuki clan. I hope he can live up to the Otsutsuki family name and have a great battle. No, why do I feel something is wrong? I feel so too. After watching for a while, it's not about Naruto and Sasuke feeling right, because in the animation, Naruto's stupid son Boruto found a stupid excuse and ran to the desert to find his master Sasuke. Then Sasuke, Gaara, Temari and other old masters went up and were defeated. Seeing Boruto and Gaara's adopted son Shinki, two genin with no more than Chunin strength, fighting back and forth with the Otsutsuki clan's god Urashiki, Naruto finally couldn't help it. This painting, you are drawing your horse. And this battle, who are you looking down on? This Otsutsuki named Urashiki is simply a shame to the Otsutsuki clan. He can't even deal with two genin, and you still have the nerve to brag about your strength? Naruto looks very irritable, and Sasuke is not much better. This idiotic painting and fighting style almost scared Sasuke's eyes. Obviously, the performance of the previous Otsutsuki was so wonderful that they still feel it is lingering. But what's wrong with this Otsutsuki? You are a comedian, right? Calm down, Sasuke. Naruto, you have to calm down. Yes, this is just an animation. You must control yourself. The two men were incompetent and furious in their positions, which made Karen and Sakura next to them miserable. They were also very depressed in their hearts, and they also wanted to sweat a vent. But there was no way. As virtuous women, they had to appease their companions. It must be said that when Liang saw this episode, he was also very irritable. Being able to make a popular IP that sells feelings and has a strong popularity bonus from the previous work into this, it must be said that this production team is really talented. When it comes to making garbage, Liang is willing to call it the best. Seeing this, Sasuke and Naruto's mentality has collapsed, and now they are too lazy to care whether the plot is reasonable or not. They wanted to see how many more such idiotic plots would appear in this animation called Boruto. With this idea in mind, the four continued to watch. However, after giving up, the plot suddenly returned to daily life. As mentioned above, the daily life of Boruto is still watchable. At least with the background of those idiotic plots, the daily plots are particularly good. The daily plots of these episodes fully alleviated the discomfort brought by the previous idiotic plots. However, after these episodes of daily life, the familiar idiotic plots came again. How come even the time machine came out? I always feel that this is no longer the ninja world, but some other strange world. No way, did they really travel through time? Seeing that Boruto and Sasuke successfully traveled through time and stood on the water tank overlooking the entire Konoha village, Sasuke and Naruto pressed the pause button at the same time. Uncle, is this the opportunity you mentioned a few days ago? Looking at the screen, Naruto suddenly remembered that when he just started watching Boruto, he couldn't bear the anger and said that he wanted to teach Boruto and Naruto a lesson. At that time, Liang said that he had a chance. Could it be this opportunity? Yes. Hearing Naruto's question, Liang nodded and continued, this time machine can allow people to travel from the future to the present. If Boruto and Sasuke can really travel through time, then you will have a chance to teach your son a lesson. Really? After hearing this, Naruto sneered and crackled his knuckles. I can't wait to teach my son a lesson. Chapter 193 Kaleidoscope created by anger. Although I also want to teach Boruto a lesson, it is possible that the two of them cannot travel through time. Sasuke is still much more rational than Naruto. He immediately thought of the key to the problem. Our world is not necessarily the world in the animation. Think about it carefully. If we have more than 10 years to grow up because of the existence of the internet cafe, we may not need to wait for Urashiki to travel through time. We can slap him to death as soon as he appears. Point yeah, it seems so. If that's the case, then Sasuke and Boruto have no chance to travel through time. So if Sasuke and Boruto really appear in the near future, then theoretically, Boruto will not be your biological son. He is just Naruto's son in their world. If that's the case, then what position do you have to discipline Boruto? Hearing what Sasuke said, Naruto calmed down a little. After thinking about it, Naruto said sincerely, whether he is my son or not, I will definitely beat him up, otherwise my mind will not be clear. Don't worry, even if you don't beat him, I will definitely beat him up. After the two agreed, they continued to watch Boruto. The following 129th and 130th episodes were pretty good, and the protagonists including Naruto, when he was a child, were all brought out to show their presence. In Liang's opinion, this was sentiment, and in Naruto's opinion, these two episodes were quite heartwarming. In the 131st episode, when the fighting scene began, the four felt the familiar mentally retarded atmosphere appear again. The mentally retarded script and simple painting made up the extremely awkward content. After watching this episode, the four people's emotions began to become unstable again. This time, not only Boruto and Sasuke and Jiraiya continued to be offline, but even Naruto's IQ was offline, and he rushed up and was a dead giveaway. Naruto in the animation has a low IQ, and he was offline, which is not the level of being hot. When I saw the next episode, Naruto and Sasuke were completely blown up. Jiraiya was killed by Urashiki with a fishing rod, which was okay, in line with Urashiki's identity as the Six Paths God. However, the four people really didn't understand the operation of Sasuke, who had traveled here and rested for several days and had no chakra after throwing a shuriken. Are you sure you are not playing a fake game? Or maybe Sakura gave you kidney deficiency? Thinking of this, Naruto and Karen subconsciously glanced at Sakura, looking at her inexplicably. And Boruto's move, deliberately going around from the back to attack Urashiki. What does that mean? Is he attacking me head on? Is that a reward for confusing human behavior? And then, Sasuke rushed towards Urashiki like a fool. The two people who were originally set to be peerless masters kicked each other like ordinary people, and when Sasuke was stepped on the ground by Urashiki, Sasuke's mentality was completely blown up. Don't look at Sasuke's calm and random analysis before. This is also because it is none of his business. Boruto is not his son, so naturally he doesn't need to worry about it. But now it's different. Sasuke's performance in the animation is even more disgusting than the eyes. How can Sasuke bear it? Snap. Sasuke, who was mentally collapsed, didn't pay attention for a moment and didn't hold back and directly crushed the keyboard a little. In his pupils, an invisible force bloomed and directly blew the computer in front of him into pieces. Liang, who heard the sound and turned his eyes over, saw that Sasuke's pupils had turned blood red at this moment. In the pair of blood red pupils, there were 3 megatoma flowing in each eye. At this time, Sasuke exuded a cold breath, which made the air temperature of the internet cafe drop by several degrees, which was faster than turning on the air conditioner. Sasuke, your Sharingan has evolved, Naruto said in surprise. Yeah. Sasuke nodded calmly, not looking very happy. After opening the Sharingan, he could feel his dynamic vision and insight, and these abilities related to the eyes were greatly improved. At this moment, Sasuke could also feel that after the evolution, his mental power soared a lot, driving the amount of chakra to increase a lot. After this change stopped, all the chakra in Sasuke's body quickly gathered in his eyes, and there was a more powerful force brewing in them. If I guessed correctly, it was the power of the main Gekio. With this pair of Sharingan, Sasuke's strength can be greatly improved on the basis of the previous one. Let's continue. Sasuke, who evolved into the main Gekio Sharingan, calmed down at this moment. There were only a few episodes left in Boruto, and he wanted to see how stupid the next plot would be. The content after this was as eye-catching as always, with the expressions of question marks on the faces of the 4 people. The big Sasuke who was trampled on the ground stood up, went up and hugged Urashiki, the god who could use time and space ninjutsu, and then hugged Urashiki and jumped off the cliff together in order to delay time and let Naruto and the others run away. Jumping off the cliff is okay. At this time, the little Sasuke felt that his mood, which had just calmed down, became irritable again. A pair of eyes unconsciously opened the main Gekio Sharingan again. Little Sasuke's temples twitched, and he felt the power in his eyes increasing crazily. Calm down, calm down. You've already destroyed your computer. You can't destroy this one too. Think about the price of this computer. 100 million taels. Naruto's persuasion forced Sasuke to calm down. Just as Naruto said, the price of a computer is 100 million taels, and he has already lost such a large sum of money, so he can't lose another sum of money for Boruto. The plot continues, and the 4 actors are too lazy to complain about the animation. Jiraiya spits out a fire dragon flame bomb, circles around Urashiki, and makes him jump away easily. Then he poisoned Urashiki, the god, and they also tolerated the silly plot of the last ninja using Rasengan to knock him away. But what is the setting of this person who eats his fish basket in samurai, transforms into a birdman with his face run over by a car wheel, and grows a new golden samurai, becoming more powerful? Eating your own eyes can evolve into a stronger eye? What the hell is this mess? Although the existence of the internet cafe made the 4 people know that the world is full of wonders, they still felt that their IQ was being rubbed on the ground. Then, the 4 people were expressionless. In the animation, the 2 masters Sasuke and Jiraiya played soy sauce, and Boruto and Naruto used the Teichi Rasengan to beat the god Urashiki to death. The classic final battle of the ninja crushing the god was staged. That's it. Otsutsuki Momoshiki died with his eyes open. Chapter 194 Sasuke's main Gekio technique. Boss, I'm sorry, I broke my computer. After watching Boruto, Sasuke took the initiative to turn himself in and came to Liang with an apologetic look. Don't be embarrassed, it's normal for young people to have tempers. My temper was not much worse than yours back then. Sasuke opened the main Gekio, and Liang was also very happy. This feeling was like the cub he had raised for many years suddenly became successful. Liang felt very relieved, and it was worth his cultivation of Sasuke. But, you are angry, but you still have to pay for the computer. One thing is one thing, Liang is very happy for Sasuke, but Sasuke must pay for the damage to the computer. There are so many people in the internet cafe. If you don't let Sasuke pay this time, will you let others pay for it next time someone breaks the computer? If you don't pay, you will suffer losses, and it will also cause some bad sequelae. If you pay, doesn't it mean you look down on others? Sasuke doesn't have to pay for breaking the computer, but I have to pay for it? I think you look down on me, fat tiger. For the sake of the future of the internet cafe, Sasuke must pay for the computer. I understand, boss, but can we negotiate the amount? 100 million taels is indeed a bit much. As the saying goes, when you lose your temper, you feel good, but when you calm down, you feel miserable. It was really good to break the computer just now, but it cost 100 million taels, and Sasuke would rather not have this kind of pleasure. Well, it's not that we can't negotiate. Thank you, boss. Hearing Liang say that there was a negotiation, Sasuke was overjoyed and quickly pressed Naruto's head to bow to Liang. Sasuke, you broke the computer, why should I bow? Why waste so much time talking? Just bow if I ask you to. Naruto. Okay, don't bow. Considering that you are still young, just give me 10 million taels, and we'll let it go. 10 million taels? Hearing this number, not only did Sasuke scream in surprise, but some of the onlookers around him also screamed in surprise. Why, you think it's too much? No, how could that be? Sasuke waved his hands quickly, indicating that the price was reasonable. Just kidding. When Tsunade wanted to smash a computer and sell it, Liang insisted on offering a price of 100 million taels, forcing Tsunade to force Shizune to find a way out. The 100 million taels and 10 million taels directly reduced the price by 90 million taels. How could Sasuke not be surprised? Don't worry, boss, I will definitely not damage even one computer in the future. After giving Liang his assurance, Sasuke and his 4 companions left the internet cafe directly. Seeing that there was no excitement to watch, the rest of the people left one after another. It would not be long before the news of Liang's special treatment of Sasuke would spread throughout the ninja circle. They really wanted to know if Tsunade would come to Liang to settle the score. When she learned of this news, bang, a good desk was smashed by Tsunade. Seeing her panting and her chest heaving, she must have been angry about something. Liang is really going too far. Why do I need 100 million taels to compensate for smashing a computer? Sasuke, a little brat, only needs 10 million taels to destroy a computer? Why? Apparently, the news that Sasuke compensated Liang 10 million taels yesterday still reached Tsunade's ears. When she heard the news, Tsunade was furious. She, the Hokage, smashed things, and not only did he not give a discount, but he even asked for a huge price. What's wrong? Is he trying to bully the Hokage? No, I'm going to go and have a good talk with that profiteer. Don't go, Lady Tsunade. Seeing that Tsunade seemed to want to cause trouble for Liang, Shizune on the side tried her best to stop Tsunade from going. Shizune, let me go. I must go and settle accounts with him. Otherwise, I will not be able to swallow this breath. Don't go, Tsunade-sama. Even if you want to go, you have to sign these documents first. Huh. Turning her head, Tsunade silently glanced at the 2 piles of documents that were taller than her and suddenly pointed out the window and said, look, there is a naked Kakashi running in front. Where? While Shizune was attracted by the naked man outside the window, Tsunade twisted her waist and instantly broke away from Shizune's control and ran away without a trace. Tsunade-sama. Downstairs in the Hokage building, Tsunade seemed very proud when she heard Shizune's angry roar. Humph, you want me to review documents honestly? Next life. Obviously, Tsunade just wanted to take advantage of Liang's matter to take a break. It's not like she had nothing to do, because she ate too much. She ran to Liang. When she is no longer a Hokage, she will probably try to knock Liang behind his back. Now, the world is big, but gambling is the biggest. Just when Tsunade skipped work and pretended to go gambling, Liang was thinking about whether to show Boruto to all the players in the internet cafe. Because the plot of Boruto is closely related to the plot of Naruto, when exchanging this anime, Liang set the permissions so that only Naruto, Sasuke, Karin and Sakura can watch it. So, in the internet cafe, although the 4 people have been watching Boruto, in fact, their behavior is just playing games normally in the eyes of others. If others knew about Boruto, there would definitely be an uproar. The chaotic ninja world is not what Liang expected. He hopes that the ninja world will be as stable as possible, so that he can open an internet cafe with peace of mind. After thinking about it, he decided to wait until Urashiki was dealt with before releasing Boruto to avoid causing unnecessary waves. StarCraft 1 can be released first. Because of his concern for Sasuke's situation these days, Liang didn't even release the new game, and he was focused on whether Sasuke could evolve into the main Jiki. Now that Sasuke has successfully evolved into the main Jiki, He only needs to give him a little time to master the eye techniques that come with the Manger Key. I just don't know if Sasuke's Manger Key and the Manger Key in the original work will have the same eye techniques. The Manger Key Sharingan is also known as the Eye of the Soul. Because of their own experiences and hopes, the abilities of each Manger Key awakener are different. For example, Obito. He awakened the Manger Key after seeing Rinda at the hands of Kakashi. According to his own personality, at this time he must be thinking about how to escape reality and escape the fact that Rin was killed by Kakashi. So his eye technique is the Kamu space that allows him to escape everything. In the original work, Sasuke's two eye techniques are the strongest Flame Amaterasu and the Kagutsuchi that strengthens the control of Amaterasu's flame. Now, the situation is different, and it is hard to say what kind of eye technique Sasuke can awaken in different circumstances. Chapter 195 StarCraft. Forget it. Why think so much? It will become clear when the time is right. After shaking his head to stop thinking about such messy things, Liang stood up and walked to the door of the internet cafe to start today's business. Boss, this is the compensation for you. As soon as the door opened, Sasuke came in with a package and handed it to Liang. Liang did not open the package to see it, but handed it directly to the system. Seeing that the amount in the system had indeed increased by 10 million taels, Liang nodded with satisfaction. Sasuke and others were no longer surprised by Liang's magic. This time, the package disappeared as soon as it arrived in Liang's hands, and Sasuke was not surprised. Aren't the three of them with you? The three people Liang was talking about were Naruto, Karin and Sakura. Sakura went to Konoha hospital to study. I don't know about Karin, and Naruto should have gone to find Hinata. Going to find Hinata? This kid doesn't really want to have two relationships at the same time. I don't know. Shrugging his shoulders, Sasuke didn't know what Naruto was thinking. Either accept both, or accept neither. This dragging of feet made Sasuke very annoyed. Forget it, let them solve their own problems. Liang guessed that Naruto had watched Naruto Next Generations, and knew that according to the original trajectory, his wife should be Hinata, and he also gave birth to Boruto, a son who betrayed his father, and Himori, a heartwarming little cutie. Maybe Naruto was a little entangled in his heart. If he accepted Karin, he would be worried about Hinata, and Hinata should have been his wife. He should not be able to give up Hinata. If he did not accept Karin, it seemed unfair to Karin. Only a few of them knew that Hinata was his wife. Can something that has not happened in the future really be considered a fact? Matters of the heart are the most difficult to judge. Liang, a single dog, has never been in love, so let alone give Naruto advice. It would be good if he did not make things worse. By the way, Sasuke, there is a new game today. Do you want to try it? Scared? Sasuke, who was about to turn on the computer, suddenly jumped away when he heard Liang say that, and looked at Liang with a serious face. Come again. Seeing Sasuke's reaction was so big, he knew that he must have been misunderstood. Don't react so much, this is not a cheating game. Promise. Okay, I promise. After getting Liang's promise, Sasuke trembled and returned to his seat, and turned on the computer with slightly trembling hands. I say, not that bad, isn't it? Aren't they just a few games? Are you so scared? Boss, it would have been better if he didn't say it. As soon as he said it, Sasuke's face immediately became resentful. Boss, tell me yourself. Pixel Bird, Dig Survival, Cat Riot. Which of these three games is played by humans? This one. Liang secretly calculated and felt that Sasuke was right. These three games are indeed not for humans to play. But even if he agreed with Sasuke's words in his heart, he still said seriously, how come these three games are not for human beings to play? Don't focus on the shortcomings of these three games, you should focus on their advantages. Advantages? These three games have advantages? Why not? Look, your Sharingan evolved into 3 Megathema. These 3 games are the main contributors. And these 3 games are so heartbreaking. After playing for a long time, don't you feel that you are not easily angry? It is obvious that it is because of the games that your psychological quality has become stronger. Therefore, these 3 games are not only not pitfall games, but good games that can help you become stronger. Sasuke, if I hadn't played them myself, I would have almost believed it. Well, even Liang himself didn't believe this, let alone Sasuke. Anyway, this game is definitely not a pitfall game. You can play it or not. Liang's arrogant performance made Sasuke quite uncomfortable. Fortunately, his mental quality has indeed improved a lot, otherwise Liang's arrogant hum might make Sasuke vomit out of disgust. StarCraft 1. It seems that this is the new game that the boss mentioned. From the name, it should not be a cheating game. Looking at the icon of the new game, Sasuke decided to try the new game. What if there is a surprise? After entering the game, several options appeared. Sasuke chose a single player game without thinking. In his opinion, this game may be similar to Diablo 2, which can be played alone, or with multiple people. Still need to choose? After entering the single player mode, he did not directly choose the character as Sasuke thought. Instead, the representative characters of the three races appeared in the center of the screen. Below these **** characters, there are several options to choose from. First, any of the three characters enter the campaign mode. Campaign mode. Seeing that Sasuke was a little hesitant after entering the game, he immediately gave instructions. You can think of the campaign mode as a tutorial for beginners. After you have passed the campaign mode and have a better understanding of the arms and buildings of this game, you can play the custom map. Hearing you say that, it seems very complicated. Haha, this game is indeed quite complicated. In fact, it is not the game StarCraft that is complicated. Almost all RTS, or real-time strategy games, are very complicated. Players will play the role of commanders in this kind of game. From mining, to building buildings, to sending troops to attack the enemy, every bit needs to be controlled by the player. And because of the diversity of arms, there are also various tactics in the game. For example, the Terran has a machine gun spark wave flow, a full population strong push flow, etc. The Zerg also has many tactics, such as 5D bloodletting pull fast attack, 12D outer double base, 3 teams of dogs in 3 minutes and 10 seconds, mop flow, flying dragon point kill flow, etc. Of course, the Protoss also has many tactics, such as the universe sky flow, the extreme home exchange flow, the wild double barracks, etc. It can be said that a good RTS game is never boring. Just like on Earth, even though StarCraft 1 is already outdated, there are still a group of people who play this game tirelessly. Liang believes that such a high quality game will be very popular with both Earthlings and ninjas in the ninja world. It's a pity that I just held a King of Fighters 97 competition, otherwise I could have held a StarCraft 1 competition this time. Boss, this game is not as complicated as you said. Half an hour is enough for Sasuke to play a few levels of the campaign mode. As he said, no matter which of the three races you choose, the first few levels of the campaign are very simple. But if Sasuke really thinks this game is so simple, then he is very wrong. Chapter 196 Beating the Child. After going through the easy mode of the first few levels, the next few levels directly put Sasuke into the difficult mode. Faced with a level that he couldn't pass no matter what, Sasuke sincerely asked Liang for advice on how to pass it. It's just a battle mode. Is it difficult for Liang? He's not bragging. As far as the game StarCraft 1 is concerned, he is proficient in most of the tactics on the market. At the beginning, Liang even participated in a WCG online qualifier on a whim. If he hadn't been ejected by the Penguin during the final battle, he might have participated in the offline competition of WCG. This level is actually very simple. You just need to do this, then this, and finally this. That's it. Sasuke. Looking at Sasuke, who was confused, Liang curled his lips and said, "Why are you so stupid? I've explained it so clearly. Why don't you understand? I'm really sorry for being so stupid." Shaking his head, Liang simply began to guide Sasuke step by step until he passed this level. I think so. This level is actually very simple. Haha, I'm glad you're happy. In Sasuke's opinion, this level is not only simple, it's hellish difficulty. In the previous battles, Sasuke only needed to control the troops. In this level, he not only had to control the troops, but also was responsible for operations and building buildings. For people who have never played real-time strategy games, this suddenly increased the number of operations, and it was really not easy to understand for a while. However, now he has finally got a general understanding of operations under Liang's hands-on teaching. Therefore, even if he did not ask Liang for help in the next few levels, he successfully passed them after trying a few more times. Boss, I've passed the level. How about we play a game first? After passing the human race battle, Sasuke felt that he had understood the gameplay of this game. Isn't it just the routine of operating troops and fighting? As long as you are familiar with it, there is no problem. Are you sure you want me to beat you? I'm already familiar with all the buildings and arms of the human race. I don't believe you can beat me so easily. Okay, since you want to be abused, let's play a game. With Liang's skilled operation, the map was quickly built. After Sasuke entered the game, he immediately pressed the start button. At the same time, the LCD TV in the lounge area started broadcasting the game at the right time, which surprised Han Dao, who was leisurely eating snacks in the lounge area. How is this a new game? Speaking of Han Dao, she only came to the internet cafe to play games recently. But compared to the games, she still prefers the food in the internet cafe. As long as she comes here, she must eat something in the lounge area first, and then see if she wants to play games on the computer. In addition to her, the new 5th generation Hokage Tsunade is also here in the entire lounge area. She was misunderstood. She didn't come to the internet cafe to play games, but came here to take refuge. There was nothing she could do. Her luck and gambling was so bad. She finally got rid of Shizune and wanted to gamble, but she lost everything and even owed a gambling debt. Fortunately, her appearance when gambling was transformed by the transformation technique, so it would be a little difficult for the creditor to find her. But for safety reasons, she still came to the internet cafe. After all, this place is not open to civilians yet. Although the casino owner is rich, he is just a civilian in terms of class. For a magical place like an internet cafe, civilians would not come to explore it for nothing. What if they accidentally discovered something about the ninjas? So, the internet cafe is the safest place for Tsunade now. Well, without further ado, the game between Liang and Sasuke officially began. The map is the most classic map LT in StarCraft 1, with 4 birth points, namely 12 o'clock, 3 o'clock, 6 o'clock, and 9 o'clock. Liang's birth point is 12 o'clock, and Sasuke is very close to him at 3 o'clock. At the beginning of the game, Liang directly sent his house, that is, the host, to the 3 o'clock position to see if there was anyone there. Obviously, he judged the direction correctly. Then after he built a peasant, he chose not to build anymore. It seems that Liang wanted to use the Zerg's ultimate move of 5D explosion. Sasuke chose the human race and developed in a very conventional way. He first started to build peasants, that is, SCV mining. After he had 9 units of peasants, he started to build the first house to increase the population. After the house was built, he saw the house that Liang floated over. He didn't pay attention to it. At this stage, the human race has no means of letting go. But when his machine gunners come out, it will be different. If Liang doesn't want to lose this house, he will definitely pull it away. As Sasuke expected, when he just started to build the barracks, Liang pulled the host to a place far away from Sasuke to ensure that the machine guns could not hit this position. Among the 3 races, only the human race's most basic troop machine gun has a long range advantage. When my machine gun brigade is formed, you can just wait for death. Sasuke, who had completed the human race's battle mode, knew very well that when the human race's machine gunners faced the Zerg's several basic troop types, they had an absolute advantage. With the excitement and the treatment of the nurse millimeters, the Zerg race would have to use their heads to block them. I'm afraid you won't be able to wait until then. Facing Sasuke's provocation, Liang didn't care at all. What do you mean? When Sasuke was wondering, he suddenly saw 6 dogs sneaking into his base, which were the Zerg's most basic troop Zergling. Impossible. How could you send troops so quickly? The appearance of the 6 dogs made Sasuke panic. He really didn't expect that Liang's soldiers would run to his house before his barracks were even built. Now I'll show you what a double-line dog is. After saying that, Sasuke clearly saw the 6 dogs on the screen split into 2 teams in an instant. One team entered the mining area to harass the SCVs that were mining, and the other team ran to the SCVs that were building barracks and gnawed them crazily. Sasuke couldn't just accept his fate and wait for death. He now had 14 SCVs. If we really counted the combat effectiveness, 6 dogs might not be able to defeat this number of SCVs. Faced with such a situation, if Sasuke wanted to hold on, he could only pull the SCVs to resist the dogs, hoping to delay until the moment when the machine gunners came out. Unfortunately, Liang didn't give him a chance. Facing his double-line dogs, Sasuke's peasant army was meaningless. His battle plan was very clear, that is, to prevent you from repairing the barracks, that is, to hinder your mining. Come on, you can't hit me. The movement speed of the SCV was the same as that of the unupgraded dogs, so when the dogs retreated once on each side, the SCV had no way to deal with the dogs. As a result, the barracks could not be built, and mining was not comfortable. Later, Liang was still recruiting soldiers. Sasuke had no choice but to quit the game. Haha, are you convinced? I'm not convinced at all. If you have the ability, don't rush. Looking at Sasuke deeply, Liang agreed to his request. Come on, let's continue. If you're listening to this novel on a channel other than Fanfic World, it means they downloaded and uploaded it without effort. We cordially invite you to visit our channel, Mundo Fanfic Novelos. There you'll find the original version of this story and you can explore many other novels of various genres. We're waiting for you to immerse yourself in a world of incredible novels. Chapter 197 Tsunade, I don't have hemophobia at all. In the second game, the map was still LT, but this time Liang did not choose the Zerg, but chose the Terran like Sasuke. On Earth, players familiar with this game know that the best same race confrontation is definitely PvP, that is, Protoss versus Protoss. The least enjoyable is ZvZ, that is, Zerg versus Zerg. And TVT, that is, Terran versus Terran, is recognized as the longest same race confrontation. If the 2 players are equally matched, it is common for a game to last an hour. However, Sasuke is not at Liang's level, so this game should not be dragged on that long. The birth points of both sides are aligned. Sasuke is at the 9 o'clock direction, and Liang is at the 3 o'clock direction. The game started the same as usual, building SCVs and houses, a very regular start. It was just when they started to build barracks that the 2 sides had a disagreement. Sasuke started with 2 barracks directly, while Liang also laid down a gas mine when building the first barracks. In StarCraft, whether it is building buildings or training soldiers, resources are needed. Crystal mines and gas mines are the resources in this game. In the final analysis, war is about resources. As long as there are more resources, the troops can keep up. Even if the front line is defeated, the rear can quickly replenish the troops. Of course, you can't just mine randomly. Mining without troops to defend is no different from wasting resources. Let's get back to the point. From here on, Sasuke and Liang had different directions of development. Sasuke's double barracks obviously wanted to explode the machine gun at the beginning and kill Liang with an absolute advantage in numbers. What about Liang? Choosing to build a gas mine obviously means he wants to go the mechanized route. If Sasuke wants to win this game, he can only take a quick attack and kill Liang before his mechanization is formed. Otherwise, once his minecart tank comes out, the machine gunner will lose his duel. Obviously, Sasuke didn't know what Liang was doing, and he didn't even send SCV to explore the way. It was only after Liang's SCV found him that he remembered to explore the way. However, when he found Liang's birthplace, Liang's first minecar had already come out of the heavy factory. After a few shells, Sasuke's SCV died heroically. Damn. Seeing the minecar appear, Sasuke didn't care whether his machine gun's range was upgraded or not, and pulled his machine gun at home to fight Liang. At this time, Liang could be said to be in a period of lack of troops, so he naturally wouldn't let Sasuke walk to his home so easily. Controlling the minecar, Liang harassed Sasuke's machine gunner in the center of the map. Because there was no nurse millimeters, the machine gunner would die after being attacked by the minecar twice, while the minecar could withstand many attacks from the machine gun. With Liang's coquettish positioning, the minecar killed 3 machine gunners and returned home with residual blood. At this time, the mines of the minecar had been studied, and 3 mines were buried along the way. Liang successfully defended this wave of Sasuke's attack. Haha, you don't stand a chance anymore. The fact was, just as Liang said, the previous wave of attacks didn't kill Liang, and Sasuke had already lost the chance to win the game. 5 minutes later, facing Liang's steel torrent, Sasuke had no choice but to quit the game again. So, young man, don't think you can fight me after the battle, you're still far from it. Looking at Liang, Sasuke seemed very unconvinced. He didn't understand why he was restrained by Liang twice when he was developing well. In the first game, Liang used 5D, which was a big move that either you die or I die, not a regular move. But in the second game, Liang used mechanization to fight his machine gunners, and it could be said that he crushed the game. This made Sasuke very depressed. If you want to fight with others, I suggest you find a beginner who is similar to you, or you can play with a computer first. If you want to fight with me, you must at least defeat 3 computers at the same time. Just defeat 3 computers at the same time. So simple. Simple. That's not simple. At this point, Liang thought of the time when he was beaten to death by 3 computers on Earth. At that time, after he defeated some people online, he thought he was invincible. At the suggestion of others, he started 1v3 computers. Then he was beaten to death by the 3 computers. Young man, play slowly. Shaking his head, Liang left Sasuke and returned to the rest area. As soon as he entered the rest area, he saw Tsunade, who had transformed into a slender girl. Hey, why are you here? Are you resting today? TSK, you actually saw through it. Since the transformation technique had been seen through by Liang, there was no need for her to maintain the effect of the transformation technique. With a bang, Tsunade returned to her original appearance. Ah, Tsunade-sama, hello. Hongdao, who was standing by, realized that the person who was watching the game with her just now was actually the 5th Hokage. Relax, I'm not a big tiger. Well, Tsunade is not a big tiger, but when she gets angry, she is more terrifying than any beast. Boss, was that a new game you and Sasuke played just now? It looked very fun. It is indeed a new game, but whether it is fun or not depends on personal opinion. Boss, I'll give you money. I'll go and try it first. Hongdao quickly gave Liang 30,000 taels and left the rest area. That made her nervous. Why, you don't want to play? Forget it, this game doesn't look very fun. Does Tsunade want to play? Of course she wants to, but she has lost all her money, and now she doesn't have money to play games. In order to save her face as the 5th Hokage, she can only be stubborn. Hearing Tsunade's answer, Liang didn't think deeply about it. He simply thought that Tsunade was not interested in real-time strategy games. By the way, is your hemophobia cured? Liang remembered that in the original novel, Tsunade overcame her hemophobia after a battle with Kabuto Yakushi, and then with Naruto's protection and persuasion. Tsunade now did not fight with Kabuto Yakushi, and with Naruto's fighting power, he did not need to use his body to protect Tsunade. If he really met Kabuto Yakushi, he would just use shadow clone and sword control technique to serve. Heh, even you know that I have hemophobia, which means I'm doing pretty well. Liang was puzzled. Actually, I don't have any hemophobia at all. The reason for this is just because I lied. After Tsunade's explanation, Liang finally understood why Tsunade's overcoming of hemophobia in the original novel was so trivial, and it was fine, as long as it was said. It turned out that it was because Tsunade did not have this disease at all. Chapter 198. Watching the fun. At that time, Tsunade was very depressed after the death of her brother and boyfriend. In addition, Konoha had some unknown dark sides, which led to Tsunade wanting to leave Konoha. However, the 3 ninja world wars had not yet ended at that time, so it was definitely impossible for Tsunade to leave Konoha like this. So Tsunade told Sarutobi Hiruzen that she had hemophobia and she couldn't do much, even if she stayed in Konoha, so it was better to let her go. Maybe Sarutobi Hiruzen really believed her words, or maybe he felt guilty about Tsunade. Anyway, Tsunade left Konoha under the name of hemophobia. Now that she has returned to Konoha and become the 5th generation Hokage, her hemophobia will naturally be cured. Of course, she will not be so stupid as to announce to the ninja world that her disease has been cured. If she can use this to trick the enemy into turning the weakness into a trap in the battle, it would be even better. As for why she told Liang, maybe in her eyes, Liang is not an enemy. By the way, why haven't I seen Jiraiya these days? Speaking of Jiraiya, he hasn't seen Jiraiya for a while, since he came to the internet cafe on the day he brought Tsunade back to the village. Logically speaking, it shouldn't be time for Jiraiya to leave the village yet. And the current Naruto is not the hot-blooded idiot in the original plot who can do nothing but shadow clones and roll balls. When Naruto went out of the village with Jiraiya to find Tsunade some time ago, he had already learned the Rasengan. If Jiraiya wanted to continue teaching Naruto, he only had one fairy technique. But Naruto didn't write his own Naruto on the Meiboki Mountain summoning scroll. It would be difficult for Naruto to learn the fairy techniques of the Toad clan if he was not a contract holder of Meiboki Mountain. Jiraiya now has no ninjutsu to teach Naruto, so there is no need for Jiraiya to take Naruto out of the village and protect him while training as in the original plot. You mean Jiraiya? This guy is still the same. He goes to the bathhouse every day and talks about collecting materials. I think he is just lustful. Shaking his head, since he knew that Jiraiya was still in Konoha, Liang was too lazy to ask him about his affairs. Has Sakura come to see you recently? Sakura? Why did she come to me? No? Liang thought that Sakura would think of becoming Tsunade's apprentice after watching Boruto. Now seeing Tsunade's attitude, it seems that Sakura has no such plan. In fact, if you think about it carefully, if Sakura can become Tsunade's apprentice, she will definitely make a fortune. Let's not talk about the background of the Hokage apprentice. Just looking at what Tsunade can do, it is necessary to become her apprentice. Super strength, medical ninjutsu, and sealant Tsunade's original 100 healings technique. No matter which one, if Sakura learns it, it will greatly enhance her strength. Especially the 100 healings technique. It can be called an alternative version of the Sage Body. The exaggerated recovery ability is something that Liang would be envious of. Do you have anything else to do? If not, I'll leave first. Shizune must be looking for her like crazy after being lazy for so long. After all, she is the Hokage, so she can be lazy, but if she really ignores the things that are put aside, she will not come back to sit in this position. The last question, have you ever thought about returning the Uzumaki clan sealing technique to Naruto or Karen? Hearing this, Tsunade frowned subconsciously. It is impossible to trace the reason why Konoha did not help the Whirlpool country, which led to the extermination of the Whirlpool country. Moreover, this decision was made by the third Hokage Sarutobi Hiruzen, and Tsunade was not clear about the details. However, there is indeed a scroll about the Uzumaki clan sealing technique in Konoha village. In theory, Uzumaki Naruto and Uzumaki Karin, as members of the Uzumaki clan, must have the right to inherit this scroll. However, it would be great if everything was that simple. Tsunade can be sure that if she says to return this scroll to Naruto or Karin, someone will definitely come forward to stop her. The most likely ones are Mitamonon and Utatane Koharu, and the least likely ones are other ninja families. In their view, no matter whether it is a training scroll or a weapon ninjutsu, as long as they enter Konoha, they belong to Konoha. And Naruto and Karin are now ninjas of Konoha village. Isn't it natural for them to follow the arrangements of the village? If you want to return the scroll to them, it will be difficult. I know it's difficult, but it shouldn't be difficult to just let them learn the sealing technique. Isn't it difficult? In fact, it is still difficult. But compared with the previous options, this option is undoubtedly simpler. I'll arrange it according to the situation. After saying this, Tsunade left directly. She was afraid that, if she didn't leave, Liang might ask him a question that would make him more embarrassed. And the reason why Liang asked this was not for Naruto. If Naruto really had that aptitude, why didn't Konoha let him learn in the original work? If Konoha is stingy, why didn't Naruto learn when he became the 7th Hokage? The sealing technique in the ninja world is a good trick for the weak to defeat the strong. No matter how strong you are, if you get the chance to use a Shikifujin, are you afraid? Of course, in addition to the big move of Shikifujin, there are also sealing techniques such as the 8-diagram seal and the diamond seal. You don't have to learn all of them, just learning a part of them will be of great benefit. The 12 little strongmen of Konoha, plus Karin, make it the 13 little strongmen. Among these people, Karin is the weakest. If you want to follow in Naruto's footsteps, such strength is not enough. In terms of background, Karin is an orphan, and is definitely not as good as the Hyuga clan, a wealthy family in Konoha. In terms of strength, Hyuga Hinata can also beat Karin at present. Anyway, Liang was just watching the fun and thinking about how to strengthen Karin's strength. Today, he happened to meet Tsunade and asked this question by the way. Tsunade also gave face and did not refuse on the spot. Since there was no refusal, it was a default. Chapter 199 Boruto is finally here. Uncle, didn't you find any trace of them today? Don't worry, I will definitely find them, as long as they come. I will tell you, when I find them. Liang had set up a barrier for Konoha a long time ago. As long as the target person he set appeared in the barrier, he could instantly sense the other party's existence. Just like now. If Boruto and Sasuke appeared here as in the animation, then Liang would be able to clearly sense where they were the moment they appeared. You two should go play StarCraft 1 first. Didn't you just lose to Sasuke yesterday and shout that you wanted revenge? You forgot about it today. Heh, you want to beat me with just Naruto? Arrogant Sasuke, why are you so arrogant? If you hadn't sneak attacked me, I would have lost. Obviously, Naruto was very dissatisfied with the loss of yesterday's game. What do you mean by sneak attack? It's your own fault for not detecting it in place. Who can you blame? Damn it, I want revenge. Today, now, right now. Come on, who's afraid of who? With that, the two of them prepared to turn on the computer and start today's game duel. Wait a minute, they seem to be here. At this moment, Liang suddenly sensed that two people suddenly appeared in Konoha village. Needless to say, it must be Naruto's son who was thinking about his father. Really? Of course it's true. Then what are you waiting for? Sasuke, Sakura, Karin, let's go, let's teach our son a lesson. At this time, in the forest east of Konoha, Uchiha Sasuke, who was 33 years old this year, had obviously gained weight in his cheeks and figure, and had some kidney deficiency, and was obviously not as handsome as a teenager, came to the past era with his apprentice Uzumaki Boruto. According to history, at this moment, the Chunin exam and Konoha's collapse plan had just ended. Konoha village welcomed back their 5th generation Hokage, that is, the granddaughter of the 1st generation Hokage, Tsunade. Not long ago, Uchiha Sasuke, the last orphan of Uchiha, defected from Konoha as a genin, and went to Orochimaru, the S-level Konoha rebel, without hesitation. He wanted to gain power and find his brother Itachi to avenge his hatred. As a good friend, Naruto is about to follow Jiraiya, one of the 3 ninjas, to practice outside, vowing to bring Sasuke back after becoming stronger. Well, the orthodox plot is like this. Unfortunately, the current Konoha is no longer the Konoha that Sasuke is familiar with, and he doesn't know that there are 4 people lying in ambush at the water tank, waiting for them to take the bait. It hurts. Boruto landed in this era with his face on the ground, not so smoothly. If it weren't for his strong physique, someone else would have been killed if he landed like this. Sasuke stood there for a few seconds, covered his eyes and suddenly half knelt on the ground, saying weakly, the chakra is exhausted. As expected of Kakashi's direct disciple, he contracted most of the bed scenes in the entire Naruto, and he said the classic lines of his master Kakashi as soon as he opened his mouth. As expected, there is a master like a disciple. Are you okay? Boruto greeted his master uncle, and then looked around. Where is this? There is no Urashiki's presence. It seems necessary to investigate. Sasuke stood up and said lightly. Then, the two got up and walked out of the forest and arrived in the city of Konoha. Standing on the water tank, Sasuke came to the conclusion with a shocked face. This is the Konoha of the past. There are so few statues on the Hokage Rock. Dad's is gone, and the statues of Uncle Kakashi and Grandma Tsunade are gone. And there is no Shinshi Street. Many streets are gone. Boruto was also shocked. Obviously, no one can stay calm about traveling through time and space. The 4 people who ran over and advanced in a hidden place secretly and successfully overheard what the 2 said. Now, they can be sure that these 2 people are Boruto and Sasuke from the era of Boruto Next Generations. According to the plot in the animation, if nothing unexpected happens, 3 days later, it will be the time for Otsutsuki Urashiki to arrive. Of course, the question about Urashiki can be postponed. Although he was not wearing the shit yellow sportswear, it was undoubtedly his father Naruto. Just as Boruto was about to ask why he was hit, Sasuke, Karin and Sakura jumped out and punched Boruto. Compared with Naruto, the attacks of these 3 people were not so heavy. They would only make Boruto feel pain, but would not make him grow a big bump. Obviously, Naruto was extremely angry about having such a son who cheated his father. If he hadn't known the concept of parallel worlds, and knew that Boruto was probably not his biological son, if Boruto's performance was not known, Naruto would definitely shoot Boruto against the wall when he and Hinata got married. Naruto, this generation of sons is not good enough. Let's go to the next one. Father, master's wife and that guy. Why did you hit me? It hurts so much. I'm going to go back and tell my mother that you bullied me. Boruto was hurt by the 4 people, and he was squatting with his head in his hands, stroking the big bump on his head while complaining. Hearing Boruto's complaints, coupled with the sudden appearance of the 4 people, Sasuke panicked. Although he didn't know what to pay attention to after returning to the past, the most basic thing was to try not to contact familiar people, so as not to accidentally change history. Who knows what terrible things will happen after history is changed. As a result, Boruto, this silly kid, came up and called him dad directly. What should I do? Also, shouldn't I have defected at this time? Why am I still in Konoha? What's the matter with Karin? Did I not travel back to the past, but was caught in Urashiki's illusion? Chapter 200 Boruto, I'm so miserable. Here, Sasuke was still thinking whether he was under an illusion. Over there, Naruto and Karin were rubbing Boruto's cheeks from the left and right. Naruto, tell mom, right? Karin, I'm that so and so, right? The 2 of them twisted Boruto's cheeks without any courtesy, and they seemed particularly satisfied when they heard Boruto's howling. Especially Karin. Why did Naruto, Sasuke, and Sakura all have their names, but when it comes to her, she becomes that so and so? Who is she looking down on? I'm going to vent my anger now. You crashed into the Hokage Rock on the first day of the ninja school. You went out on a school trip and lawlessly participated in the politics of other countries. You cheated in the Chunin exam. And not long ago, your master Sasuke was almost beaten to death by Urashiki. Tell me why I beat you? Naruto's expression did not change, and he was still smiling. But with every word, the dissatisfaction on Boruto's face dissipated a little and turned into guilt, because these were indeed the things he had done. How did the father of this era know? And who is this woman of yours? Boruto was guilty and shocked, with a hint of dissatisfaction. He was guilty and shocked. Why did Naruto of this era know? He was dissatisfied. Who is this woman who has been twisting him all the time? Sasuke, who was standing by, also showed obvious shock on his face when he heard what Naruto said. How did Naruto of this era know what will happen in the future? But the 4 people in front of him, from their appearance to their aura, are undoubtedly the people I know. Damn it, is this an illusion? Why does it feel so real? It seems that these 2 guys really traveled from the parallel world of Boruto, and the plot development is basically the same as recorded in the animation. The 4 looked at each other. After the test just now, they got a lot of information. Dad didn't wrong you, did he, Boruto? Looking directly at Boruto's cheeks, that were red from being pinched, but still with a guilty look, Naruto asked with a smile. No. Looking at the boy in front of him who was obviously about the same age as himself, Boruto felt a fear in his heart that he had never felt before when facing his father in his 30s and the future era. Boruto cast a look for help to his master uncle Sasuke beside him, but received a helpless reply. Although I don't know how Naruto knew about the future accident, you should let your father calm down. Otherwise if he doesn't marry your mother, you will be gone. I'm glad that I didn't wrongly accuse you. At this time, Karen felt that she had almost vented her anger. Seeing that Boruto's right cheek was almost swollen like a pig's head, she stopped and let Boruto go. But Naruto didn't stop. He flashed behind Boruto, lifted him up with a little force, and placed him on his thighs facing the ground. Looking at Boruto lying on his stomach, Naruto held down Boruto, who was trying to struggle with one hand, and raised the other hand high. Face the wind. With the blessing of the martial arts secret technique Dragon Elephant Prajna, Naruto's palm turned into an afterimage and swung towards Boruto's butt. Ah! The screams of the beaten naughty child resounded over the entire Konoha. It must be said that only Naruto can do the trick of spanking a child with Dragon Elephant Prajna. After watching Boruto being beaten for a while, the little Sasuke came out and said to the big Sasuke, "This is not the place to talk, come with us." The big Sasuke seemed very confused. What happened just now seemed too bizarre to him. He didn't defect when he should have, and Karen appeared in Konoha for some reason, and Boruto was beaten. All of this made him feel very confused. But he was also open-minded. After seeing that the four people had no ill will towards him, he followed behind calmly. Boruto was in trouble. He looked bitter, one hand covering his swollen buttocks, the other hand rubbing his cheek, and limping behind the two. The first time I traveled through time and space to the past, and the first time I saw my father, when he was a child, both were very happy things. These two happy things intertwined together, which should have brought greater happiness. But why? Why did two happy things intertwine and turn into a beating? Also, who is that woman? Who can tell me? I'm so miserable. Oh. Boruto's eyes were full of tears, and his heart was extremely bitter. He wanted to throw himself into his mother's arms and cry for comfort. Led by little Sasuke, the group came to the Uchiha mansion, which was Sasuke's home. As soon as he entered the house, little Sasuke said to big Sasuke enthusiastically, "Don't be polite, just treat this as your own home." Hearing this, big Sasuke looked weird and thought to himself, "This is my home." Everyone sat down one by one. When Sasuke was about to speak, he saw Boruto, who was afraid to sit down because his butt was red and swollen from being beaten. At this time, he seemed to remember that Boruto had just been beaten by Naruto and could not sit down. "Sakura, give him a guanine mantra." Hearing Sasuke's words, Boruto thought he was going to be beaten again, so he subconsciously took a step back, and then he gasped in pain when his wound was pulled. Poor child, he was ravaged by Naruto and Karin as soon as they met, and he had a psychological trauma. Of course, Naruto was not embarrassed at all for such a result. After all, it was natural for a father to beat his son. Sure. Sakura didn't say much after hearing Sasuke's words, and raised her hand to cast a guanine mantra on Boruto. In Boruto's surprised eyes, his body was being healed by Sakura's medical ninjutsu. Now his whole body became warm, and the discomfort in his body was quickly subsiding. After a while, Boruto's injuries were healed by Sakura. After he was cured, Naruto pressed him down hard on the chair. "Who are you?" Boruto didn't know about Sakura, but Sasuke knew it. As a husband, he didn't know when Sakura learned a medical ninjutsu called guanine jutsu. Moreover, the other three people also felt weird in his heart. Let's talk about Naruto first. Although the Naruto in front of him, his appearance and chakra aura, even the chakra belonging to Ashura on his body, are exactly the same as the Naruto in his memory. But after just a short time together, Sasuke found many differences. End of this chapter. Thank you very much for reaching the end. Don't forget to like. Looking for more exclusive content and immediate access? Subscribe to our Patreon. Remember, every like, subscription, or donation encourages us to continue. Thanks to everyone. See you in the next video.